everybody. Welcome back to the NFL Today. Coming up, most of you will see the Kansas City Chiefs try to salvage their season by avenging an earlier loss to the Broncos. Denver, meanwhile, is on the brink of a season for the ages. Elsewhere, some of you will see either Miami at Oakland or Baltimore versus Tennessee. Out there at Denver, there's John Elway warming up. Sunny skies at Mile High. Possible snow flurries, though, by game's end. But sunny skies right now. They did have to scrape some ice and snow off the field earlier today. There's Dan Marino out at Oakland. His Miami Dolphins and the Raiders, such a huge pivotal game on both sides as they make a run at a playoff berth. Meanwhile, the Oilers will be hosting the Ravens down in Nashville. There's Steve McNair trying to come back from that heartbreaking loss a week ago up at Seattle. Jim Nance here along with Brent Jones and Marcus Allen and Michael Lombardi. And hey guys, let's run through the scores. Some fascinating things happening right now in the AFC East as we try to sort out who's going to be in, who's out. Some of the answers may be clarified a little bit better today. The Jets were just stopped on 4th and 9 at the Seattle 20, and they're down 5 with 3:25 to go in this game. This would be such a monumental victory for the Seahawks, who have underperformed all year, but could go to 7-6 with a win today. There's Bill Parcells, and here's John Kitna, the Seattle quarterback, named the starter for the rest of the year.
Yeah, he's just on the ball today. Joey Galloway a couple times. Nobody can cover Joey Galloway or catch him. You saw Aaron Glenn try right there. Aaron Glenn hurt his ankle, is out for the rest of the game.
And you saw Glenn say, or Galloway say one more. He did add another touchdown later. And on a 4th down play, look at Ricky Watters break free, 39-yard scamper for a touchdown. Seattle's defense also returned an interception. 7th time this year the defense has scored, and Seattle lead 31-26. We're going to give you a live bonus look right now at this game over at the Meadowlands. Let's go there right now. Kevin and Sam are calling the game. Kevin Harlan, Sam Weiss with the call.
This is Sam White, Kevin Harlan, the Meadowlands, and East Rutherford. 3:25 to play in the game. Seattle leading first place New York, 31-26. A punt by the Seahawks, Jeff Beagles. Retrieved at the 30-yard line by reserve running back Leon Johnson, and he takes it to the 36. 46-yard punt. Tackle made by reserve Mike Kroll.
Now the importance of the call made on the last drive by the New York Jets. They had a chance to kick a field goal, which would have put them within 2 points. They chose to go for it on 4th down and about 9, did not make it. Now they have to score a touchdown on this drive with 3:15 left and only one timeout remaining for the New York Jets. It is the kind of things that after the fact, 2020 hindsight, that Bill Parcells is probably saying to himself, boy, I'd like to have those 3 points that we could have had on the last drive. Our defense held them. Here we are sitting in a position just to drive down, get into field goal position to win. Instead, we've got to get down in the end zone to win.
Jets kept coming in as the healthiest team in the NFL. 2 pretty serious injuries today. Aaron Glenn, after intercepting a pass from John Kitna, twisting an ankle. Keith Byers is out of the game, and they had no one on their injury report coming into today. It's 1st and 10. Testaverde hit by Sinclair and is incomplete to Wayne Prevett. Covered by Kerry Joseph. 2nd down and 10. Sinclair, number 2 in the NFL in sacks.
I'll say it again. It's Michael Sinclair and Chad Brown. Those are the 2 key players on the defensive side of the ball right now. They're the ones that are going to make something happen. Now, if they get the pressure on Vinny and force either a mistake or the quick throws, those defensive backs can stay with the wide receivers.
Prevett has not caught a pass in the second half.
It's not over yet.
2nd down, 10 from the 36. Testaverde blitzes on, pass, caught by Prevett! Leaping grab at the 43. Tackled by Terry McDaniel, a gain of 20.
Wayne Prevett, out of the slot, is a much better receiver. He seems to find a hole. He gears down right in the middle of that zone, just over the head of Kerry Joseph and before the safeties can get there.
1st and 10 from the 44 outside. Testaverde with the strike. This one brought in by Alex Van Dyke. Here's a kid who came into today with 1 reception. He's caught 3 already.
Plenty of time now. It's still at the 2-minute warning timeout, and they've got their 1 timeout, as well as out of bounds and incompletion stopping the clock.
2nd and 1, screen pass. Leon Johnson behind the block of Mawai. He gains 5. He picks up the 1st down. The clock continuing to tick as we approach the 2-minute warning.
See, right now they're 1st down at the 30-yard line. They're actually within field goal range. Had they gotten those 3 points on the previous drive, they'd be sitting pretty right now.
1st and 10 from the 30. Testaverde the punt. He's got a receiver. Van Dyke caught it, dropped it incomplete, and a flag is down at the 22.
And it looked like Seattle grabbed Van Dyke when he made the out and up move.
The Seahawks have been burned in this fourth quarter with one defensive penalty after another. Two on Springs. Let's see who this is on.
Illegal contact, defense number 22, 5-yard penalty with automatic first down.
Fred Thomas.
Nickel defensive back in there with the extra wide receivers in the ball game in this 2-minute situation. They'll get a chance to, you see him grab up at the top of the screen. All you have to do is put a hand on somebody 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and it's a penalty. They're emphasizing that as officials this year, and especially in a situation where you know they're throwing the football.
And he caught it. They're inside the 10. From the 25. First and 10. Draw play, handoff. Slithering moves by Leon Johnson to the 15. Tackled by Darrell Williams. We're at the 2-minute warning.
Because there were 2:03 left before that snap, they could run the ball without worrying about having to stop the clock. It stops automatically at 1:58.
All right, Kevin Harlan, Sam Weiss, thank you. Bonus coverage there, 2-minute warning, and Seattle trying to hold on against the Jets. It's been really a gambling kind of a day there for Bill Parcells, Mike.
Yeah, they're 2 for 3 on third down, but the interesting play, Jim, was on the 2-point conversion. Fred Baxter drops the ball, which puts them 2 points behind. And then he doesn't go for it for the field goal for 3 points. He loses 5 points there, really, and that really hurts the team.
The Jets at 8-4. Buffalo already posting a win to go to 8-5. We'll return to the NFL Today postgame show in a moment. All right, we're back live on the NFL Today postgame show. Seahawks and the Jets. Jets driving at the 15-yard line. 1:58 to go. Let's go back out there live.
Hand off to Martin. Outside for Soll. Spinning catch at the 10. He's inside the 5. It'll be first and goal on a gain of 11.
And now, of course, the time is not a factor unless, of course, you score too quick. Token fake and then right quick into the flat. He's outside all the coverage. That time it was Anthony Simmons who blew the cover. Looked like he took the bite on the fake a little bit and didn't get out there on the one-on-one coverage to the outside. A rookie linebacker trying to do everything right here at the closing minutes. Got beat on that one.
First and goal from the 3. Martin by himself. 3 tight ends. Johnson at the top of your screen. Penalty flag. Oh, they blow that dead before they get a chance to go.
Looked like Matt O'Dwyer or Jason Fabini, somebody on the right side move.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense, number 69. 5 yards, it remains first down.
Jason Fabini, the right tackle over here. He's going to move. See him flinch right there. There's enough crowd. The crowd is into this. Now, obviously, they're not trying to make noise to distract their home team, but they're into it, and the tackle and the tight end are the farthest away from that snap count, the voice of the quarterback. They're trying to anticipate it. That time they flinched. Jason Fabini flinched anyway.
Vinny Testaverde today has completed 42 passes. He is 3 short of tying an NFL record. Bledsoe holds it.
Those 5 yards may actually help the passing game. Gives you a little more.
Long play handoff to the former college quarterback in North Carolina, Leon Johnson, who gets a meager yard running up the middle. He is a quarterback that is for a while until Natron Means left and they converted him to running back.
What they're looking for is an up the field rush where everybody comes and runs by a quick handoff to the running back. Didn't work that time. Seattle, as they've done all day today, playing good, solid team defense. Everybody taking care of their assignment. Dennis Erickson has to be proud of the way this team's played this afternoon. But he is still churning inside like you can't believe.
Second goal at the 7th play of the drive. That's the motion. Hand off to Martin. Great tackle made by Cortez Kennedy. Now they're as far as the 5.
The Jets are playing for Seattle to be in an all-out pass rush, trying to pop it right by the pass rush with these quick hitting shots up the middle. At least they tried to. I'm expecting them to put the ball in the air on the next 2 tries if they don't score on the 3rd down here.
Plus, if the Jets do score, they're not going to leave a lot of time in the clock for Seattle if they would get it back.
They're in good shape with the clock. The clock is running down to 40 seconds right now. They don't care about that. They've got 1 timeout if they need it to stop the clock.
3rd and goal from the 5. Martin in in the backfield. Testaverde, he's missed twice to Johnson. It's caught, but caught out of bounds for a third time today. 3 times they've gone to Johnson at that same exact place. 3 times he's caught it. 3 times he's caught it out of bounds.
The only question here is, was he pushed out of bounds? He was not. He would have come down out of bounds. Look, see, his one foot is inbounds. The other foot did not touch inbounds. There's going to be a question. Oh no, he's on the line. His first foot's on the line. Absolutely perfect call by the officials. Right there, you can see his first foot coming down, does touch the white. Nice throw by Vinny, but he's just a little bit too long. He has been on 2 other occasions, right, already today.
3 times, same exact pattern, same exact result.
Here it is. New York Jets take a timeout. 4th down. Here's the ball game. Let's discuss this one, get everything right.
What would you call in a position like this?
Well, they're going to I would expect them to put the ball in the air with a lot of options, meaning that you're going to maybe even move Vinny out of the pocket. The problem is he's on the right hash mark, so to give him most of the room, he's got to move to the left. It's tougher for a quarterback to roll to his left. The other one that just might surprise everybody with Seattle probably jumping into some kind of man-to-man coverage would be another run. Just pop it straight up the middle. The clock doesn't matter. It's your best call.
What do you think he's called defensively?
A gap defense. Make sure every gap's covered. He'd like to get help on Keyshawn Johnson and Wayne Corbett. Those are the 2 big guys, or the 2 clutch guys that the Jets statistically have gone to in this situation.
Jets are out of timeouts. Empty backfield. 5 receivers deployed for Testaverde. 4th and goal at the 5.
Man-to-man with 2 safeties helping deep, 1 on each side.
Bill Parcells comes in to hug Vinny Testaverde. They're going to go for 2, and because of NFL restrictions, we have to pull out at this point. But the Jets are in. Count it, and we'll continue with the NFL on CBS News in a moment.
Game, man.
The address is CBS. Welcome home.
So the Denver Broncos begin play. First down at their own 28-yard line. And Elway going to throw on first down into the flat. Complete to Terrell Davis, and he's knocked out of bounds. And for those of you just joining us here at Mile High Stadium, the Denver Broncos offense looks like this. Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, Neal, and Harry Swain, left tackle to right tackle on the offensive line. Terrell Davis, Howard Griffith in the backfield, McCaffrey and Rod Smith, the wide receivers, and Shannon Sharp, the tight end. Gary Kubiak, offensive coordinator. Elway looks one side, goes the other way, and that's incomplete, intended for Davis. And it'll be 3rd down. Take a look now at the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Up front, O'Neal, Barnes, McLaughlin, and Derek Thomas in his first start since the fiasco against these Broncos back in Kansas City. Favors, Edwards, and Davis are the linebackers. In the secondary, Carter and Hasty, the corners, Jerome Woods, Reggie Tung are the safeties. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down.
Kansas City has got what they want. They wanted to get Denver in obvious, long passing situations. That means you got to stop the run.
Elway goes down at the 20-yard line.
And that's why they want to do it. They match up well against this Denver offensive line. They think when it's an obvious passing situation, talking to Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, we can put pressure on the quarterback. You saw it on the first drop-back passing attempt by John Elway.
Gunther Cunningham said the thing he wanted to do was jump on this Denver offense early. So Tom Ruin will kick number 87. Tamarick Vanover is deep at his own 35-yard line. And he'll get a chance to return this. He gathers it in at the 36. 45, midfield. And the Chiefs will start with excellent field position. The quarterback is Rich Gannon. And here's his offense. 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions thus far for Gannon. His offensive line looks like this. Parker, Smith, Grunhard, Shields, and Victor Riley. In the backfield, Bam Morris and Kimball Anders. His receivers, Reisen and Alexander Tony Gonzalez, the tight end. Gannon to throw on first down, far side, has a man out of bounds. And that is complete to Andre Rison for a pickup of 5. A look now at the Denver defense. And it is a good one and getting better with every game. Neil Smith, Keith Traylor, Trevor Price, and Tanavasa up front. The linebackers, Mobley, Kadrev, Romanowski. In the secondary, the only change there, Tyrone Braxton, subbing for the injured Eric Brown, who misses his 3rd straight start with a groin injury. A quick pass to this side now, and that's complete to Joe Horn. And Horn has enough for a first down for the Chiefs.
That's what the Kansas City Chiefs on offense today, what they would like to do, have their passing game work, get rid of the football quickly because of the good pass rush by the Denver Broncos, but they feel it's a lot easier to throw the ball against the Broncos than it is to run it.
And now Steve Atwater is down on the field.
Now with Eric Brown, one of the other safeties, a rookie safety, he's out. Tyrone Braxton, as you said, Greg, taking his place. Steve Atwater does so many things for the defense, and here he comes in late, runs into his own guy, and who knows what happened there. But he's a defender. Well, this defense is kind of built around him. He moves around, he's back, he's up in the line, he blitzes. You know, great tackler against the running game.
It's George Coghill replacing Steve Atwater. First down, Chiefs at the Denver 37. Gannon to throw again. Far side. Has a man, and it's incomplete. Intended for Donnell Bennett. And Atwater now returns to the field.
Well, Rich Gannon's got to feel good the way the game starts. I mean, the first 3 passes, all relatively short. The first 2 he hits, and for a quarterback, it's always good to get in rhythm as the game starts, hit those first couple. And the last 2 games, he's thrown the ball very well. And he said, well, I'm used to starting. I'm in rhythm, so it's just making it so much easier for me.
2nd and 10 for the Chiefs. Over the middle has Gonzalez. And a loose football picked up by the Broncos. First turnover of the game favors Denver Broncos. Ma'a Tanavasa. Just when the Chiefs had things going very well their own way, stopped the Broncos on their first possession.
They had the Chiefs had the Broncos a little off balance. Tony Gonzalez has a little trouble catching the ball off balance, and what happens is, as he tries to regain his balance, he leaves that football. He actually drops it without being hit.
Denver Broncos best in the NFL in the takeaway giveaway ratio. And you see the fumble problems that the Chiefs have had this season. Elway going to give it to Terrell Davis. Pick up of 2 on the play. Leslie O'Neal there for the stop for the Chiefs. It'll be 2nd down. And we welcome those of you who've been watching the game between the San Diego Chargers and the Washington Redskins, won by the Redskins 24-20.
Redskins are hot.
Here, each team has had a possession. The Chiefs have given the ball over on a fumble. Broncos now with 2nd and 8 from their own 36. Elway to throw. Under pressure, he gets rid of it. And Terrell Davis out to about the 40-yard line.
I mean, it's early in the game, Greg. It's the second possession of the Denver Broncos, but you can kind of see why the Kansas City Chiefs, we talked to the coaches and players last night, why they feel confident. They match up well against this Denver offense. They're hoping they can stop that, that early barrage of points and yards that the Broncos always give to every team.
It is a barrage. The Denver Broncos have been a dominant first-quarter team this season. Elway looking at a 3rd and 3 now from the 41. Make it the 40. Elway throws far side, incomplete. Mark McMillan with the play there on Willie Green.
Mark McMillan, number 29, small, but the one thing this corner can do, he can get his hands on the football. He reads the quarterback in routes as well as any corner in the National Football League. The problem with him always is his size and the fact that sometimes he's too aggressive and gets beat on those double moves for those long touchdowns.
Mark McMillan officially listed at 5'7", 155 pounds.
That's right.
Bruin loses the handle on the football. He goes down. Loose ball picked up by the Chiefs. They'll have excellent field position. So it's Kansas City football. And we welcome those of you who watched the New York Jets knock off the Seattle Seahawks 32-31. Tom Rowan, the Denver punter, just mishandled the snap from center on a punt attempt, and Kansas City with the football now at the Denver 26-yard line. Gannon to throw down the middle, has a man, touchdown. Andre Rison, and the Chiefs draw first blood.
Boy, the one thing you love to do, you're in the enemy's ballpark, you get a turnover, it's down in the position around the 25-yard line, go for the home run. Try to throw a play that gives you a chance to score. On the first attempt, Andre Rison does a good job, just runs by Darian Gordon for the touchdown.
This is only the 3rd time this season the Broncos have not scored first in a game. Stojanovic with the extra point. So Andre Rison, his 5th touchdown catch of the season. Rich Gannon has thrown on every offensive play so far today. This is a 26-yard touchdown pass.
Darian Gordon's the corner. Here's Andre Rison. If you look in the middle, there's nobody back there. So Darian Gordon must protect the inside. He just waits a little too long. Andre Rison, hey, surprised him with the speed. Perfect throw by Rich Gannon.
As we talked to Gunther Cunningham last night, he outlined one of the 2 things that the Kansas City Chiefs needed to do today. Number 1, stop that opening drive of the Broncos, which the Chiefs did. The other thing is to get on the board first. Vaughn Hepburn from the 7. Far side, and knocked out of bounds just across the 25-yard line. An early gift to the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Rowan mishandling the snap from center. They convert to a touchdown and lead it 7-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. The new 1999 TL, luxury, performance, pick 2, and by Norelco, put it to the test.
Welcome back to Denver, where it snowed a couple of inches last night. The field was covered, tarp removed, not a sign of the white stuff on the field. As the Broncos take over, 1st and 10, 27, 10.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. And they trail 7-0. Terrell Davis hit back and brought down. Donnie Edwards, number 59, the first man to hit him, down on the sideline. Our man Armin Katayan. Armin.
You know, Greg, Mike Shanahan had a conversation and a golf match with Dick Anderson, one of the stars of the 1972 Dolphin team that went undefeated, the only undefeated team in National Football League history. Shanahan said that he was acutely aware of the record. Anderson said that he was hoping that they would take a nice big run at it, but it really hoped that they wouldn't break it. He's very protective of it. Shanahan said he would be an honor to break the record. We'll see how close they get, obviously. Back to you.
All right, Armin. Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11. Elway. Over the middle. In and out of the hands. Intended for Shannon Sharp. You know, there's no question those Dolphins are protected. We saw the comments last week of Bob Greasy, who said, told his son Brian, well, you know, I'd sure like to see you lose one before you get to the postseason.
You know, that's hard for a father to do, but that kind of just, I think, exemplifies how proud they are, and, you know, rightly so, to be the only team ever to go through the season undefeated and win the Super Bowl. So it's a great thing, and they're starting to get nervous, though, because the Broncos have gone so long without losing.
Minus 16 total yards for the Broncos. 3rd and long. Elway has Rod Smith, and that's going to be shy of first down yardage.
From what you could see so far, 3 Denver possessions, and you can just see the Kansas City defense faster, more aggressive, and stronger. That's why Denver get no yards so far.
3 Denver possessions, 3 and out each time. And Ruin, who fumbled the snap the last time, will try to handle this one before he kicks it away to Tamarick Vanover. Position. 44-yard punt, 34-yard return by Vanover.
Tamarick Vanover, one of the strongest return guys in the National Football League. You can see it on every turn that time. Brent Jones in the pregame show, he thought maybe today Tamarick Vanover could break a return against this Denver Broncos coverage team. The Denver Broncos have struggled this year covering punts. Mike Shanahan said we got to improve that. Tamarick Vanover healthy and doing a good job.
44-yard return tied their longest of the season, and there is the first running play of the day by the Chiefs. Kimball Ander for 9 yards, and it sets the Chiefs up for 2nd and short yardage. Here's Jimmy Ray, offensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
Coming out throwing the Denver Broncos defense. Look, you've thrown the ball every single play so far. They're expecting pass. Good time to spring the run on, catch the Broncos defense by surprise.
Call it an 8-yard pickup, and they get 2nd and 2. They'll keep it on the ground, and again, this time Fennell Bennett breaks free for first down yardage.
Isn't it something? Last night we're sitting in there, and of course, what did we expect when Kansas City came in to talk to us? I expected everybody to be down, you know, really unhappy about everything that's gone on. Instead, we found a confident, you know, team.
You mentioned body language.
Well, body language. Yeah, just Marty Schottenheimer wasn't complaining about injuries, what his team was doing. He was just looking forward to today's game. He thought they had a chance if they did certain things well.
From the 26, Gannon to throw on first down, far side, as his man, Derek Alexander, out of bounds, and another big gainer on first down for Kansas City.
Well, this is one thing you can do. When you're playing the Denver Broncos, you know, outside, Ray Crockett, look at that cushion. Derek Alexander, you know you're going to get a lot of single coverage to the outside, and if the quarterback and receiver, if they're in conjunction, they can make some plays. And Derek Alexander, heating up is right the last 5 games. Receptions for big yardage.
Derek Alexander told us last night he thought he could get some things done against this defense today. And now Rich Gannon calls timeout. The Chiefs use their first timeout of the day with 7:18 to play in the first quarter, and they lead it by a touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Honda, a winning lineup of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans, and by Taco Bell.
back at Mile High Stadium. The first time these teams met, the Broncos led 14-0 after one period of play. Here, the Chiefs threatening to go in and to go up 14-0. 2nd and 2. Quick drop, Gannon, quick throw, complete. First down to about the 12-yard line, Tony Gonzalez.
Wow, Rich Gannon is in rhythm. He is on target. And during the commercial break, we were talking. Kansas City has come out here, and they've got Denver flat-footed. Rich Gannon, there you go. See Tony Gonzalez, just a quick turnout, right to the chest. Good throw, good catch.
So it's now first down at the 11. A look at big tight end, Tony Gonzalez. Clock running at 6:45. That's Gonzalez in motion. Gannon to throw again. In and out of the hands of Kimball Anders. With 47 receptions coming into this game, Anders, the Chiefs' leading receiver.
Well, not something you see too often, Kimball Anders dropping the pass, but this time, what happens? What's Bill Romanowski? As he blitzes, nobody's there to block him, and you could see immediately Kimball Anders turns, looks for the football. That's what you call a hot receiver. And Rich Gannon, you know, you need all those little things to work well to keep your team in good positions.
2nd and 10, throws far side, has his man inside the 5, diving for the end zone, and a touchdown. Kimball Anders comes back to make the reception, 11 yards in the score.
What we're seeing is the exact opposite from the Kansas City Chiefs, what they did a couple of weeks ago in a Monday night game. They are coming out sky high and physically just taking it to the Denver Broncos.
We have a man down on the field for the Broncos, and that's Ray Crockett.
Watch, it's a blitz again. Bill Romanowski coming through, but nobody has Kimball Anders in coverage. Nobody from the secondary comes running up. The Denver Broncos, you know what happens? They expected Bill Romanowski's going to blitz. They thought Kimball Anders would stay in the backfield, pick him up. Didn't happen that time.
So Crockett, who delivered that hit and took the worst of it, is still on the ground, and now he's up and walking with help. Let's go back and take another look.
Well, you got a fullback, Kimball Anders, Ray Crockett, number 39. Kimball Anders running full speed.
Ray Crockett at 5'10", 185. Kimball Anders at 5'11", 225.
I think he did the right thing. Just throw your body in there. Don't think you're going to run over Kimball Anders when he's at full speed and you're coming at an angle like that.
But the Kansas City Chiefs have come out here and done what no team has done this season. And if they kick this field goal, Denver hasn't been down 14 points so far this year.
You know, Marty Schottenheimer's got to feel. You know, it's interesting talking to him last night. We talked about the losing and what's transpired. He says, you know, I just didn't become really dumb all of a sudden. So we're going to get this thing turned around and get playing good football again.
Stoyanovich with the kick, and it's good. And if you are just tuning in, we don't have it wrong. It's a 14-0 lead for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kimball Anders running over Broncos and into the end zone. Down by 14 points, not this year and not until now. It's a new feeling for the Denver Broncos and head coach Mike Shanahan. Stoyanovich to kick it away. 22, Vaughn Hebron is deep. It's a short kick. Hebron from the 10. 25. And hit and knocked to the ground by Eric Warfield, number 44. This reminder, coming up tonight on CBS, critics are calling The Christmas Wish a contemporary twist on It's a Wonderful Life. Debbie Reynolds and Neil Patrick Harris star in the Sunday movie The Christmas Wish. That's tonight, and it's here on CBS.
Greg, one thing we've noticed about Kansas City defense so far, James Hastings, the first couple series was shadowing Shannon Sharp wherever he went. This time it looks like he might go back outside.
First down from the 27-yard line. Elway, play fake, down the middle. Has Rod Smith wide open. To the 30, to the 20, and out of bounds just shy of the 15-yard line. 57 yards.
When you're going to take and put so much effort in stopping Terrell Davis in the running game, this is what happens. Rod Smith, the safeties, you saw him come running. trying to stop the run. Nobody middle of the field to stop the long pass of John Elway. And that's why, when you're going to play this way, it puts so much pressure on your corners, James Hasty and Dale Carter. Hey, that time, James Hasty, he said he was expecting a safety to be deep in the middle of the field. Nobody there.
Now, at the 15-yard line, this is the area of the field that we saw the Broncos working on offense, specifically with Rod Smith.
Well, the one thing they do, the Broncos down here, when they get inside the 20, they have a lot of pass plays designed to take advantage of the defense right away. In other words, go right for the score, do something that's different that they haven't seen before in previous weeks.
Dale Carter, number 34, being helped off the field for the Chiefs. So Mark McMillan will be the corner in his place. James Hasty on the other side. McCaffrey in the slot to the top of the screen. Rod Smith is in motion coming your way. Davis, left side, blocking, inside the 5 and down to the 2-yard line. Reggie Tong made the touchdown-saving tackle after a pickup of 13 yards.
Well, Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, says, I don't know what it is about this guy, talking about Terrell Davis, but it always looks like he's just running downhill. Good example, he sees that hole and he just takes it up in there. But watch Tony Jones, 77. He seals off Derek Thomas, nobody on the outside. Howard Griffin can go up the field and block James Hasty. Nobody there for Kansas City.
First and goal. Play fake, rolls, looks to the end zone and throws it away. He had Shannon Sharp coming across the back of the end zone.
You know, Craig, going back to that last play when we saw that run by Terrell Davis, that's one of the reasons why Derek Thomas has been taken out of the starting lineup at times, because he has a hard time standing in there and blocking and hold up against offensive tackles against the run game. And good example, just he gets crushed inside. There's nobody out there now to stop the running play.
Marty Schottenheimer told us last night it isn't a lack of heart on Derek Thomas's part, it's a size factor.
Well, when you're 260 pounds or 250 going against 320, I don't care how strong you are, it's hard to hold up to him.
Second and goal. Davis, touchdown.
Well, this is one of the reasons why they have the best running attack in the National Football League. Good blocking, good scheme, and when they get the opportunity, sometimes they'll just overpower you, and that's what happened that time for Terrell Davis and the offensive line of the Denver Broncos.
Jason Elam has been perfect this season in point after and field goals, and he is still perfect. 48 out of 48 in the extra point department. Terrell Davis from a yard out, his 19th touchdown of the season, and the Broncos cut the Chiefs' lead in half.
Here's Rod Smith. He's going to come across the field. Here's Reggie Tongue, number 25. He comes up against the run. Rod Smith goes right down the middle. Nobody back there. That's the big play, the big pass play that led to the touchdown for the Denver Broncos.
It was good for 57 yards and set the Broncos up deep in Kansas City territory.
But if that's going to happen today, that's why it's imperative that the corners for Kansas City, they need a great day, because those safeties, they need to take chances to stop the running game.
Elam kicks it away. Vanover from the 8. 20. 30. Knocked down at the 32-yard line. Dwayne Carswell, number 89, in on the tackle.
You can tell the Kansas City Chiefs are just fire. Did you watch the offensive line come out in the field that time for the Chiefs? I mean, they were sprinting out there. They want some of this. And that's what you need. You need spirit, determination. Hey, you're playing here in Denver against a team that hasn't lost. It's going to be an all-day battle, no matter how well you play. So you got to keep bringing it to the Denver defense. You got them off guard a little right now.
Number 39, Crockett, is back at left corner for the Broncos. Gannon going to throw. Has all kinds of time. Throws this side, and that's complete just shy of the 50-yard line to Andre Rison, who makes his third catch of the day. This one good for 17.
And that's when you take advantage advantage of this Denver defense. First down. Give them some play action pass. That way it enables Rich Gannon a little extra time to throw the football. Because like Rich Gannon said to us last night, if you just keep dropping back, they have so many defensive linemen with speed, they're going to get to the quarterback.
First down from the 48. This one handed off up the middle, Bam Morris, and Morris moves the pile across midfield to about the 48 and the 47-yard line, maybe.
Now, see, that time, Bam Morris, he just said, hey, I'm an offensive guard. And he just rammed it up in there and put the weight on him, and he just fell forward for the extra 3 or 4 yards.
You know, you kind of get the feeling that run was just a little bit of a pause from what the Kansas City game plan is. The Chiefs rushed for just 31 yards in the last game against the Denver Broncos.
Well, what you need to do, you got to run it every once in a while so Rich Gannon can catch his breath so he can go back there and throw that ball again.
2nd and 5. Gannon going to throw that ball again. Has time, throws it complete to Gonzalez. Gonzalez stretching for the first down. Looks like he comes up a little short. Romanowski with the tackle, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
Well, what I see so far, the play action passes are really killing the Denver defense. Greg, you could see from up here, even though you didn't get to play quarterback in this league, that's what I pointed out.
I still have time.
Okay, but people are open down the field. That time, both receivers were open. Rich Gannon just didn't have the time to throw it down the field.
Double tight ends for the Chiefs on 3rd and 1. Gonzalez and Popson. Straight ahead, first down yardage for Bam Morris. He needed 1, he got about 3.
Kansas City's offensive line has been beat up a little this year with some injuries. Look at number 68, Will Shields, pulling around there. Donnell Bennett going up there. But Bam Morris, just a good job in those situations. As soon as you see a little daylight, hit it and pick up the first down. He did that time.
So once again, the Chiefs having no problem moving the football on offense. Clock continues to run. We're under 2.5 for the first quarter. Gannon to throw. Far side. Has his man. That's Popson. And Popson across the 35.
Well, if I was the Denver Broncos, I'd quit playing run, and I would play all pass and make Kansas City show me you can run the ball and beat us.
Well, you know, the thrust of what the Chiefs told us last night is that we aren't this bad a team. And who would have thought after this team started the year 4-1, they would lose 6 in a row? Who could see the Chiefs losing 3 straight games at home at Arrowhead Stadium?
Marty Schottenheimer said, I didn't think I would ever in my career lose 6 straight games. He said, what it does...
Gannon on the run and throws it away.
What it does... I think it did Marty Schottenheimer just makes him appreciate winning even more. You know, as a coach and a player, sometimes you get a successful program, which Kansas City has had for years. Sometimes you just take this winning for granted, and you don't realize how hard it is to accomplish.
Well, you know, Marty's in a little bit of a quandary. I mean, we questioned him pretty good on his quarterback situation. You know, Elvis Gerbach went out early in the year with a shoulder injury, missed 4 games, and he said, I don't know what happened, but we lost something during that little period of time. Gannon and the Chiefs now looking at 3rd and 4 as the crowd comes alive. Gannon throws, complete. Crockett comes up with the hit on Rison. And that's close to a first down.
It's just short, and that's a really good mark by the official. About a foot or a half a yard short. That's where Andre Rison caught the football, and there's no question. You go for it in this situation.
Well, the Chiefs haven't had any problem moving the football.
This is a pass that everybody runs when they run the West Coast offense. Option right, inside receiver, goes down the field about 4 yards, goes out, throw it to him, try to pick up the first down.
Bam Morris, Donnell Bennett in the backfield. Gives to the first man through, and that's Bennett, and he's got the first down.
Boy, that's a good job of running the offense by Rich Gannon. They got the fullback. They're going to give it to him quick. There's no lead blocker. But what they did that time, they just came up the line of scrimmage. They got down quick, and he said, set, go. And the defense just didn't get a chance to really dig in there. Just how quick they ran this play, that was what really impressed me. They gave him a chance to pick up the first down.
You have to be impressed with these Kansas City Chiefs with time winding down here in the first quarter. Alexander hit the ground as they approached the end zone in a tangle with Darian Gordon. Our referee today is Johnny Greer. Microphone problems on Johnny Greer, but the call is pass interference against Denver.
Good play call. Derek Alexander was on the right side of the football field. You can see Darian Gordon just runs through him. That is a penalty. Good call. But he's on the right side. He was just in a foot race across the left. No defensive backs over there. Tough coverage by Darian Gordon.
First and goal for the Chiefs. On the ground and reaching for the end zone is Bam Morris for the touchdown.
Kansas City is emptying the bucket here in the first quarter. I haven't seen a play repeated yet. A lot of different play actions, a lot of different looks, and hey, the Broncos, you're playing defense. You're going up there just guessing what's going to come at you, and every once in a while they sprinkle in a little run by Bam Morris. Everything's working.
Well, the one thing that has come alive in recent weeks for the Kansas City Chiefs has been that offense. 71 points in their last two games, and with this extra point, they put 21 on the board here in Mile High Stadium in the first quarter. Stoyanovich right down the middle. So it is the 228th sellout here at Mile High Stadium. They're a little bit in shock. They're down 21-7. Mike Shanahan may be looking for an answer to this Kansas City offense. You see that the Denver Broncos have allowed only 2 first-quarter touchdowns all season long coming in. Today they've allowed 3.
Well, 2 reasons. The offense, of course, at Kansas City has been terrific, but the thing that's probably caught most people off guard is the fact that Kansas City defense stopped Denver the first 3 times. Their offense 3 and out.
Over their last 4 games, the Broncos are allowing less than 12 points a game. Chiefs have blown right by that with 12 seconds to play here in the first quarter. This will be Heflin from the 10. Trying to get outside. 20 and just across the 25-yard line. And with 1 second remaining to be played here in the first quarter, the Broncos offense takes the field. We are within 1 second of that little factoid doing by the boards.
Well, I tell you, every time we've had a shot of Mike Shanahan on the sideline, he's got that big play sheet of his, and he's devouring it. He's looking at it. The Kansas City defense has come out here and done a couple things a little different, and they're going to have it again this time. They're going to have James Hasty in on the inside. He's going to stay with Shannon Sharp. Here's Shannon Sharp. Look at James Hasty. He moves. They both move.
And Elway going to throw. And goes down at the 17-yard line. Second sack of the day by the Chiefs on John Elway wraps us up here in the first quarter. Chester McLaughlin got to him. We've played 15 minutes, and for the most part, it's been a Kansas City day. They lead it 21-7. Back for the second quarter after this. Kansas City Chiefs up 21-7. The Denver Broncos average 163 yards rushing. They're the number 1 rushing team in the National Football League. They had 1 yard rushing in the first quarter against the Chiefs. The Broncos start the second quarter, 2nd and 19 from their own 18-yard line. The pitch to Davis. And Davis hits deep in the backfield. Dale Carter, number 34. And he has lost a yard on the play.
Well, that just tells you about the Kansas City defense right there. Dale Carter, the corner, he's out there. A pitch to Terrell Davis. He just goes in the backfield and just blows the play up.
That's Terrell Davis, who is looks like having a little bit of difficulty as he comes off the field.
Yeah, carrying about a pound aside in that helmet, too.
Derek Lavelle, number 31, replaces him.
You know, this Kansas City defense, they don't have any trouble being aggressive. That's, in fact, most of them, sometimes this year, they've been too aggressive. They open up big holes, and teams make big plays against them because of that.
3rd and 20 for Elway from the shotgun. All kinds of time. Throws far side. McCaffrey is there, and he is hit by Carter. That's short of first down yardage, though. For an NFL Today report, our first of the day, Jim Nance in New York.
All right, Greg and Phil, you'll be seeing this replayed all week. The Jets' controversial finish, 20 seconds to go. 4th and goal from the 5. Testaverde stopped short of the goal line, but after a long delay and in the pileup, he's able to move the ball across. The Jets are given the touchdown later and the win. Back to you.
Well, an officiating controversy. That'll be something new for a change. It's Mark Vanover deep for the ruined punt. Vanover from the 19. And a penalty marker flies. Whatever he gets on this, it'll come back. Joe Horn, number 84, thinks he had a good angle on his man. The official says otherwise, and Marty Schottenheimer also doesn't like the call. And it'll move the ball back on the Chiefs. This will easily be the worst field position of the day for Kansas City. Turn 84. I think we're going to get Johnny Greer a new microphone for Christmas. The clock has stopped. 13:32 to play in the first half. We're coming right back after this.
Doubt about it.
First down, Chiefs from their own 8-yard line, and they'll start it off on the ground with Kimball Anders. And Anders, a tough 3 yards. Make it Bam Morris, not Anders. And Keith Traylor in on the stop.
You know, the one reason why the Kansas City Chiefs want to throw the ball, we kind of said it, they want to spread this Broncos defense out a little, because when you just come out in normal formations, you're going to let Steve Atwater stay up near the line of scrimmage. That always gives the Broncos that one extra guy that you can't block in the run game.
2nd and 7. Cannon to throw. Has time, and now going to run. Brings it down shy of the 15-yard line. That'll be about a 3-yard pickup.
That was a good 3-yard pickup. Those are the type of plays that really make it very important in a football game. The difference between 3rd and 8 and 3rd and a long 3 or 4 are tremendous for a football team. Kansas City's offense probably has 3 times as many plays to call in this situation than they would at 3rd and 8.
The ball is at the 19-yard line. Again to throw on 3rd and 4. Under a rushing goes down. Ma'a Tanuvasa with his 8th sack of the season.
Tanuvasa, defensive tackle last year, moved to defensive end this year. Just overpowers the center, Tim Grunhard, and gets the sack that time. Usually he relies on his quickness. That time he caught Grunhard off guard, used his power, just overran him.
And now Louis Aguiar will kick it away for the first time today. Darian Gordon, fair catch at the 49. 44-yard punt, no return, and the Broncos offense goes back to work, trailing 21-7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chevy Blazer. A little security in an insecure world. Citizen. Today more than ever, Citizen is how the world tells time. And by smooth, refreshing Michelob Light. Beer or Michelob.
Along with Phil Simms and Armin Kate and Greg Gumbel back at Mile High Stadium, 11:25 to play here in the first half. Field position, well, you can see the Chiefs have had the advantage. Starting from their own 49, this is the best the Broncos have had all day. Elway going to throw. Has time, throws this side, incomplete, into the dirt in front of Howard Griffin.
You know, the fact that they just brought the Kansas City Chiefs or put James Hasty on Shannon Sharp, this creates a lot of problems, I think, for the Broncos. all the games we've done, how many times have you seen John Elway have a play-action fake, roll out a little, whatever, and nobody's covering Shannon Sharp? Today, he's got a guy that's faster than him covering him, James Hasty, and probably just as strong because James Hasty is one of the most physical corners in the National Football League.
2nd and 10. Quick drop, Elway over the middle, McCaffrey. McCaffrey looks for running room and gets buried short of the first down. Give him about 9 on the pickup.
Now what that does by putting James Hasty inside, that leaves Mark McMillan right here, 5'7", on Ed McCaffrey, who's 6'5". So that's a matchup that you'd like if you're the Denver Broncos. So whatever you had planned for Shannon Sharp, you got to rethink that and maybe bring it outside to Ed McCaffrey.
McMillan has just gone to the sideline and is replaced by linebacker Greg Faber. 3rd and 2. Here comes Terrell Davis. Left side. Cuts it back. Has running room and across the 30 inside the 30-yard line. 13-yard pickup brought down by Jerome Wood.
Watch Tony Jones, number 77, against 58, Derek Thomas. Gets him pinned inside. Lets Terrell Davis take it outside, then bring it back up inside for some extra yards.
That run leaves Terrell Davis 1 yard shy of 6,000 for his career. Down at about 30 by Anthony Davis. Ellen McDaniel's also in on the tackle for the Chiefs. So he lost 2 on the play.
You know, the other thing too, Greg, by playing 5 defensive backs for the Kansas City Chiefs, just more speed on the field. That enables them to run Terrell Davis down when he goes outside, and then when he cuts it back, it gives you more speed to chase him down again. So Gunther Cunningham coming up with a good wrinkle. Something he didn't tell us about this last night, though. I'm a little upset.
He told us about everything else.
Yeah. A lot of fun talking to him.
3 wide receivers, 2nd and 13. Elway has Rod Smith. Smith inside the 15-yard line, and that'll be a Denver first down.
Well, this plan, it's contingent on that Mark McMillan can hang in there and have a good, solid day. The blitz comes. Everybody coming. Good job of pickup by the Denver Broncos. And John Elway, he knows he has 2 singles outside. He goes, I'm going to go Rod Smith against Mark McMillan. Mark McMillan does a good job of making a tackle that time. And Rod Smith, 3 catches for 80 yards today. He has been the hot receiver of late for the Denver Broncos.
Smith on the sideline as the Broncos go with 3 tight ends. Elway rolling, throws back to this side, and it's complete. No, out of bounds. Terrell Davis made the catch, but sliding out of bounds.
Well, it's a good call by the Denver Broncos. Instead of, this is almost like the throwback to the quarterback. Look, he fakes it to Terrell Davis. John Elway's going to roll to the right, look to the right, but he knows the whole time he's going back to the left side for Terrell Davis. He doesn't quite put enough steam on the ball, and you can see it. Terrell Davis let his foot slip out into the white. Watch it, the right foot. It is out of bounds. Good call.
The fans disagree. That's just for the record. We have a timeout on the field. 8:22 to play here in the first half. We'll be right back.
The most comprehensive network coverage of the PGA Tour is on CBS Sports.
Watch Terrell Davis's right foot as the ball comes in. The right foot slips out of bounds. Possession of the ball. That is an incomplete pass. And look, you can see the headline. Well, you couldn't. There he is. The head linesman was looking at the out-of-bounds marker the whole way. Good job by the officials at seeing it.
And now the Chiefs have called a timeout. Their second that they have used up here on second down. And Marty Schottenheimer pacing the sidelines while we have this opportunity. We will remind you that Monday on CBS, Raymond's brother just moved into a swinging bachelor pad, and guess who's green with envy? Ray Romano stars in an all-new episode of Monday night's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond. That's Monday on CBS.
Oh, well, you can't have it all.
Both Mike Shanahan and Marty Schottenheimer has been working the officials pretty good. Nothing new to the officials.
Well, that's right. You know, you got to get it from everybody. And, of course, when Terrell Davis caught it out of bounds, all the crowd went crazy and wild. And it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. They're going to boo when it doesn't go against their team.
2nd and 10 from the 14. Penalty markers fly as Davis tries the right side and is knocked down at about the 13-yard line. Reggie Tung with the tackle. And this is going to go against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, John Elway, he gets about 10 yards in penalties every game by drawing the defense offside.
Offside, 75, defense. Still 2nd down.
That's Chester McLaughlin.
That's an important time to do it. John Elway knows he can probably get away with it 2 or 3 times a game. It's 2nd and 10. You're going in. It's a tough call. You got to run and play. You figure, let me try it right here. If I get him outside, 2nd and 5. Now you got run and pass as an option.
2nd and 5 on the 9. Elway coming this side. On the run. To the 5. Just shy of the goal line. He is out of bounds. James Hasty ran him out.
Well, good job by John Elway again. Terrell Davis is your running back. When you fake to him, that is make the defense overcommit. It gives him a lot of room to run. And then John Elway does the smart thing. You know, if this is the Super Bowl, you duck your head and you go in there and score the touchdown. But it's early in the game. You're only down 2 touchdowns. Preserve yourself. Let Terrell Davis run it in.
1st and goal from the half-yard line. Davis comes up short. No touchdown signal as yet.
We're down on the goal line. That was a very slow developing play. It took quite a while for Terrell Davis to make his mind up where to go. Watch how long it takes. You know, it's got to happen like now. There, two stutter steps in the backfield. That's too long. Kansas City defense, they react to it. Watch Terrell Davis. Left, right, left. Too many moves and you're down on the goal line.
He was ruled down before he made that second lunge. On 2nd down, straight ahead. And again, he comes up short of the goal line. Kansas City defense digging in.
Well, you got a couple big guys inside there for Kansas City. Pella McDaniel's doing a good job. Tom Barton, and then you got this other guy, Chester McLaughlin, number 75. He is really creating some mess inside. 75. Watch the inside guys. Good jump off the football. They're in the backfield. Look at that. Kansas City just beating Denver to the punch.
3rd and goal. This time into the end zone for the touchdown. Terrell Davis, his 2nd of the day.
Something different, a little counterplay by the Broncos. There comes Dwayne Carswell inside for the block. Terrell Davis comes behind it for the touchdown.
So Davis gets his 2nd of the day. Jason Elam on for the extra point. And Elam once again is perfect. So Terrell Davis is in gear. 2 touchdowns today, a mile-high salute. And once again, the Broncos pulled it within a touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sun America, the retirement specialist, and by RCA, changing entertainment again.
The Terrell Davis touchdown has the Broncos back to within 7. It's 21-14. There you see the scoring drive. 10 played, 51 yards in just under 5 minutes, and Jason Elam to kick to Tamarick Vanover. 2 touchdowns today. You see his numbers, but the bigger picture. His first 4 seasons, I wonder if they're paying attention back in the studio. He ties Marcus Allen for most touchdowns his first 4 seasons in the NFL with 58.
Marcus hadn't even been out of the league a year yet, and his records are falling. They go quick. But at least
you're cruel.
But at least he had some records.
Oh, yeah.
It tells you he was a great player, too. But in Kansas City's offense, they got to keep pushing it. They got to take chances. Even as good as their defense has played today, they've still given up 14 points in the first half.
Gannon to throw. Far side, complete to Kimball Anders for a 1-yard pickup. We'll take this opportunity to remind you, coming up at halftime, we'll be sending you off to our New York studio for the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Jim Nance, probably a very depressed Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and Mike Lombardi getting you caught up on all the action from this 14th weekend of the NFL season. It's coming up on the NASDAQ Amex halftime report.
No, Marcus doesn't get depressed about this. He's just worried about how his tie looks. Is my makeup on right? How does my hair look?
Am I clean?
Yeah, do I look good?
Clock running at 5:45 to play, and the crowd getting into it now for the Denver defense. Sam Morris tries the right side and gets maybe a yard on the play.
Well, that's what happens. We talked about it earlier. When you put that offensive formation, you put it in tight, that's when Denver's at its best. Look at all the people at the line of scrimmage. Link Cadrez blitzing through there, and then the speed of the Broncos defense just coming up and making the tackle.
So Rich Gannon looking at 3rd and long as we move towards 5 minutes to play here in the first half. Quick pass outside, complete, diving for the first down is Derek Alexander, but he's short. Darian Gordon with the tackle, and the Chiefs will have to kick it away.
Well, Denver, they set back in the first couple drives. That time, they attacked, blitzing. They made Rich Gannon throw the ball quick. That way, you just take all the pressure off of your defensive corners. They just got to make tackles instead of covering receivers down the field.
Aguiar, the kick to Gordon. Gordon at the 32. And down at the 35. So a 42-yard kick and a 3-yard return. Here's a look at Terrell Davis, who is now just 2 yards shy of 6,000 for his career.
You know, I think, what is this, the 5th game we've done this year? With the Broncos, 5th game we've done here with them on the road. But every game we do, Terrell breaks another record. It's a new record every time you do a Broncos game, so that tells you how great he has been in a short period of time in the National Football League.
First down Broncos from their own 35-yard line. And Elway, play fake, over the middle, has his man at midfield. Rod Smith for a 16-yard pickup and a Denver first down.
That's okay. You know, if I was a Kansas City Chiefs, you just can't be disheartened when this happens. You have a chance. Boy, look at that. It goes right through the hands of Anthony Davis, and Dale Carter down the field had good coverage on Rod Smith.
Smith now on the sideline. The ball in Kansas City territory. Terrell Davis, 6,000 and counting. 35 out of bounds at the 30-yard line, and penalty markers are down. Jerome Woods pushed him out.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 21, defense. First down.
Well, Terrell Davis, watch number 85, Willie Green, come inside. There's the block that really seals for him to get to the outside. Anytime a running back in the late hit by Jerome Woods out of bounds. I mean, watch this. He's out of bounds. Well, it's not as bad as it looked when I saw it in real, but he's out of bounds a good yard. You've got to be careful as a defender when the runner's near the sideline. It looks like he's going to give up.
Well, I thought Jerome Woods was in midair when Terrell Davis stepped out of bounds. Nevertheless, it moves the ball to the 13-yard line. First down, Denver. Elway lobs it. Touchdown. Ended up on his back courtesy of Chester McLaughlin, but McCaffrey was in the end zone with the football.
Well, that time Eddie McCaffrey used every bit of his 6'5" reach to get that football. When it was let go, I thought there's no way he could catch that one, but made a good adjustment in the air, reached up and caught it with his hands.
Elam for the point. And we are tied at 21.
It's a blitz by the Kansas City Chiefs. John Elway has to get rid of the football quickly. And Ed McCaffrey going down the middle of the field, basically uncovered. Look at this, good move going underneath the defender. Gets under Jerome Woods to make the touchdown catch.
So McCaffrey, the 13-yard catch. Meanwhile, at the other end, Chester McLaughlin. Well, John Elway never saw it completed.
Oh, and Chester McLaughlin gets it. Well, Elway's happy. He says, hey, it's a touchdown, big fella. But that's good anticipation by John Elway. He saw Ed McCaffrey going down the field. He thinks he might be open. Chester McLaughlin comes in almost untouched. You anticipate where the receiver's going to be. You let it go nice and soft. Ed McCaffrey makes the adjustment for the touchdown.
So the Chiefs with the red-hot start, but the Broncos have come back. The Chiefs led 14-0, 14-7, 21-7. We're now tied at 21 with 3 minutes exactly to play here in the first half. This is Van over from the 2. 25 and brought down just across the 30-yard line. Keith Burns with the tackle. Every defense tries to figure out a way to stop that man. Terrell Davis, 6,019 yards for his career. How fast? Pretty doggone fast. Fastest running backs to gain 6,000 yards, Terrell Davis in 58 games.
What I've noticed the Broncos, they tried running inside a little early in the game. It didn't work. Good adjustment by them really quick. They're blocking the receivers down inside. Terrell Davis has been taking it outside.
Crowd now going to put a little pressure on Rich Gannon and the Kansas City offense. Gannon over the middle has his man. Number 82, Derek Alexander, hit hard by Crockett.
So when a team is picking you apart, which Rich Gannon did the first couple drives, you say to heck with this. So they've been pressuring the quarterback, really pressuring the Kansas City offense. That time when you catch the pass, Ray Crockett comes up and makes the hit immediately.
I believe Rich Gannon went a little bit Laredo on that delivery.
What is that?
I think it's a little sidearm.
Oh, a little sidearm. Okay, Laredo. Got to explain those things to me.
2nd and 5. Gannon throws, ball tips at the line of scrimmage and falls incomplete, intended for Kimball Anders.
This is one of those series for the Kansas City Chiefs, and as a player, you just got to find a way. The coaches, you got to call a play that somehow just gives your team a chance. Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator, gives you a chance to pick up that first down to quiet the crowd down and get yourself in some rhythm and, help your own players out.
Well, the crowd comes alive again on 3rd and 5. Play clock is down to 1. They did barely get it off. Gannon throws, complete, great diving catch by Ted Hobson. No, incomplete now is called.
To me, it looked like he made a catch from up here. Let's watch watch it. Ted Popson coming down the field. Number 48 is coming down, going to hook it out. Good throw by Rich Gannon. And let's watch him. He catches it. There. He gets his hands underneath, the ball to his body.
I'd call it a catch. Oh, there's a ball down underneath.
But it snuck out. That's why you're not an official.
That's just one of the many reasons why I'm not an official.
You don't look good in strikes.
Darian Gordon's going to let this ball bounce, and it takes a Denver bounce and goes out of bounds at about the 36-yard line as we hit the 2-minute yard line. Just a 29-yard punt. Denver goes back to work on offense. We remind you once again, coming up at halftime, we'll be sending you to our New York studios for the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, Mike Lombardi getting you caught up on everything that's happening this 14th weekend of the NFL season. It's coming up, the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Broncos have 1:54 to play here in the first half. They have 2 timeouts, and they have the ball at their own 36-yard line. Elway play fake. Lots of time. Down the field, McCaffrey.
Watch Ed McCaffrey, the fake to Terrell Davis again. Nobody in the middle of the field. He's going to go up, make a little move out, gets Mark McMillan going backwards, and then he cuts across the field. If John Elway leads him across the field instead of up, it's going to be a touchdown. And that's the problem for the Kansas City defense. Don't overreact to the run. When you do, Denver's going to go over the top.
46-yard pickup. First down at the 16. Back to the ground game. Davis left side and out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Watch what happened the previous play. Ed McCaffrey against Mark McMillan. Here he is down here. He's going to go down the middle. But look at the deep safety. He should be back there guarding against the home run ball. He sees Shannon Sharp come up the field, looks at the end cut up top, not paying attention to the deepest receiver. That is the primary goal of the deep safety. Always make sure you're deeper than the deepest receiver.
We have 67 seconds to play here in the first quarter. And on 2nd and 6, Elway wants a timeout.
You know, that was really, really good recognition by John Elway. That play where he threw that long with Ed McCaffrey, that is designed to look for the tight end going across the middle to Rod Smith coming behind him. The safeties overreact. He sees that. It took him a while, then he throws over the top of him for the big game.
Elway and Mike Shanahan.
I mean, Mike Shanahan was digging into that play sheet of his that you can see he's got in his hands, looking for things, looking to counteract what the Kansas City Chiefs defense did differently at the beginning of the game, and they have found the answer. Of course, I think it's always the answer. If they get to Terrell Davis, throw it deep. I mean,
what a turnaround it has been here in the second quarter for the Denver Broncos. 119 total yards for the Chiefs in the first, 13 in the second. The same kind of turnaround to the positive side of the ledger for the Broncos here in the second quarter. 2nd and 6. Elway throws, end zone, intercepted. Mark McMillan. And McMillan out of bounds across the 10-yard line.
Boy, that's what makes Mark McMillan, listen, he gives up some big plays, but I've played against this guy, and I've said it many times, you've got to keep your eye on him because he reads the quarterback. He takes chances. Look to your right. Number 29. He saw John Elway. He didn't even look at the receiver. And he makes a good adjustment to the football and a terrific catch. Reaches out with both hands and then picks it up and does the smart thing. Takes it out, looks to try to make a big play on the return.
Oh, can you think of a bigger play for the Kansas City Chiefs the way this second quarter has gone?
Well, that's what it's going to come down to. What we say at the beginning of the game. The corners will have to have great games for the Kansas City Chiefs to have a chance to win. Because they're going to put them in. They're going to put their corners in a lot of tough positions one-on-one down the field.
So Mark McMillan helps the Chiefs dodge a bullet. We are under a minute to play, and the Chiefs are just going to run it out.
You know, there's one thing, if you saw John Elway's expression after he threw that interception, he was a little upset because it's like a golden rule in football. When you're running inside, watch the top of your screen up here. When you're a receiver and you're running to the inside, if the defender's there, you must come underneath the receiver. That time, Rod Smith went to around the defender, and that leaves the defender between the ball. See that? He went around the defender. John Elway expecting to come inside.
And that'll do it for the first half. Gannon, Schottenheimer and company jumped off to a 14-0 lead. Exactly the thing that the Chiefs felt they had to do to have a chance here in this game.
Well, the Chiefs came out. They caught the Denver Broncos by surprise on both sides of the ball. But what is really, I think, the most terrific thing about the first half, Denver made better adjustments and got back in the game.
Our halftime score, 21-21. Coming up, we'll be sending you to New York in the NASDAQ Amex halftime report. Jim Nance and company will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from today's action after these messages from your local station.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Amex halftime report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Amex Market Group, the market of markets.
Hi, everybody. NASDAQ Amex halftime report time. Jim Nance with you from the New York studios, along with Brent Jones, Marcus Allen, Mike Lombardi. Here it is, 21-all after a 21-7 Kansas City lead. Denver in pursuit of that NFL record-tying 18th consecutive victory. Is it going to get there or not?
Oh, I think they're going to get it, Jim, and this was the story of two quarters. The Chiefs had 119 yards in the first quarter, 21 points, only 13 yards in the second quarter, no points. I think they've weathered, the Broncos now have weathered the Chiefs' best punch. They're going to come out and hammer them in the second half.
All right, elsewhere in the NFL today, Miami and Oakland, and Donald Hollis has thrown 2 touchdowns to the Dolphins. They've run back 2 scores, and Miami's winning big on the road. Ravens 5 possessions, 5 punts, 43 total yards. Giants on the year 0-7 when down at halftime, and they're down 7 right now. Earlier today, Seahawks with a 31-18 lead going into the fourth quarter just have their heart ripped out on a late call. Joey Galloway was the story in the first half. John Kitna twice hooked up with him for long touchdown scores, and it helped Seattle race out in front with that big lead. And, well, you couldn't keep quiet about this, though, at the end, folks. Nope, this is something we'll be replaying all week. 4th and goal from 5 yards out. Testaverde clearly stopped short, but it was ruled a touchdown with only 20 seconds to go.
I saw the guy on the right signal immediately. So I kind of thought that he was in. The guy on the right, on our right sideline, on the goal line, signaled immediately. Okay, a touchdown. You can look at that on the film.
You know, to lose it on a play like that at the end is just totally disappointing. That just makes you sick.
And sadly for Erickson, it may in fact be a loss that will cost him his job by season's end. They would have otherwise been in the playoff chase. What are we going to do with all these calls? Phil Luckett was there, the man from CoinGate. He was the official there today, just oddly enough as well.
Well, he is definitely having some trouble, but I really feel like people have been saying we've got to have replay back next year. Baloney, we've got to have replay back next week. Too many errors. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. Bring back replay right now.
Let's fly them all to the O'Hare Hilton this week, convene, and get this thing done now.
You and I will pitch in our air miles.
I've got some frequent flyer miles.
Let's do it. We got to get this thing right.
We'll even fly in first class. All right, earlier today, New England and Pittsburgh, and the Steelers' offense has managed only 2 touchdowns in the last 14 quarters, and the Patriots overturned the loss in last year's divisional playoffs at Pittsburgh. And watch Bledsoe shred them today for over 300 yards, and Terry Glenn, a New England record, 193 yards receiving, and this 86-yard touchdown. They're surging now. They've won 3 in a row. And Buffalo gets back in the win column. Flutie and Moulds again today.
Watch Eric Moulds here. Lowers his head. He thinks he's a fullback. Boom! I think they broke the mold when they made this guy Jim. Excuse the pun, but he breaks Cincinnati's back right here with a 70-yard touchdown pass.
The Bags are out in Cincinnati. They've lost 8 straight. The Bengals have. Meanwhile, Jacksonville won with his backup quarterback. Just the second play of the game. Brunell out with a sprained ankle. Jamie Martin takes over. Throws 2 touchdown passes, including this one to McCardell. Jacksonville now has 10 wins on the season and 6-0 at home. Hey, Atlanta was down 14 to the Colts, and Marcus, they came storming back.
Everyone in the house thought it was a run, but it was a flea flicker. Here's Tony Martin, perfectly executed play, touchdown, beautiful thing.
First time ever, Atlanta beats the Colts. All right, San Francisco wins at Carolina. They got Garrison Hurst breaking 171 yards for a touchdown. Looks a lot like the long one he broke heartbreak against the Jets in the first week of the season, but in overtime they go on to win it. Casey had a chance to win it for Carolina at the end of regulation, but missed the field goal. And the Saints over Dallas big today, Michael.
Yeah, Jim, Kerry Collins took advantage of that Dallas secondary. Kevin Mathis gets burned by Andre Hastings for a touchdown. Every team that played on Thanksgiving so far has lost. The New Orleans defense did a great job today.
And the Redskins' winning touchdown pass to Leslie Shepard came with just 1:54 remaining in the game. And the NFL on CBS will continue in just a moment. One more look at the tying touchdown pass.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Amex halftime report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Amex Market Group, the market of markets. CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Amex halftime report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Amex Market Group, the market of markets.
The Denver Broncos, looking to stay perfect on the season, have a battle on their hands, tied at 25-21, and CBS Sports coverage of the NFL continues after a word from your local station. Welcome back to Mile High Stadium. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. 21-21 as we get set for the second half. This has been a game of momentum shifts.
A lot of changes, and I think in the second half, Kansas City, they got to continue to find ways to really push the Denver Broncos. You're going to have to score a lot of points to win this game. The Kansas City Chiefs do, so you've got to take some chances, I think.
22 straight victories here at home, regular season and post. That's what the Broncos have put up. That's part of what's at stake. And the first team that'll get a chance to show a little offensive momentum, the Chiefs, they'll receive the second half kick. Tamari Vanover, who has threatened to bust a couple of returns today. Deep for the Chiefs. Vanover at the 2. 15, 20, 30. And out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines, and Armin Katayan. Armin.
You know, Greg, I talked to Marty Schottenheimer coming off the field. He said with 21 points, I would be a lot happier if we had the lead. We're giving up too many big plays on defense. As for Mike Shanahan, he said we were surprised early on with some of the defensive packages that they threw at us, but he said we found our rhythm now. We feel pretty good about it. One big question in the second half, leadership for Kansas City. There's been a lot of questions all year long about character on this team. No one has stepped up, the players said, to take control. It'll be interesting to see in the second half if anybody does. Back to you.
All right, Armin, thanks. Chiefs begin first down at their own 35-yard line. And Rich Gannon to throw. Floats to his right, throws the screen. That's complete. Morris close to first down yardage. Let's take a look at the first half statistics. No one is running the football very successfully.
Well, the total yards, Denver Broncos, 229. That's terrific. Against a defense that's come in inspired, and Armin says they even caught the Denver Broncos off guard, but still Denver figures it out, and they get a lot of big yards against you.
The word for Rich Gannon today is efficient. He's 15 of 20 for 118 yards and a touchdown. On second and short, they'll keep it on the ground and get nothing. Bam Morris lost yardage on the play.
Well, I think that's the thing that surprised me. One of these things today, you know, you come here and we've done the Kansas City Chiefs a couple times this year in games. And when you watch Bam Morris here on the field, you see him in person, you realize he is really big.
Bam Morris has gone to the sideline now on third and about 3. Whistle blows before the snap. That play will not count as Gannon gets buried.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have shown they struggle picking up the blitz.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 88, offense.
That's Tony Gonzalez.
Still third down.
They struggled picking up yards against the blitz at the end of the first half, so Denver, right away, 3rd and 3, sending everybody. Kansas City was going to have no chance of picking it up. You can see Keith Traylor immediately got to the quarterback.
So now Marty Schottenheimer's offense looking at 3rd and 8.
And of course, you want to pick up some first downs. to get the crowd out and get your offensive rhythm so you can get your whole playbook involved again.
3 wide receivers for the Chiefs. Gannon flips it out, and tripping and falling is Kimball Anders. He can't regain his feet, and the Chiefs will have to kick it away. They lose 4.
Everybody on the Chiefs sidelines all upset that Kimball Anders trips and falls, but you know what? It's not going to matter. There are a bunch of defenders for the Broncos. They're going to be there to make this tackle. He goes down. You can see all the defenders coming in. Trevor Price coming from behind to make a good hit.
John Mobley there too. And now Darian Gordon deep for the Broncos. Aguiar's 4th punt of the day. Gordon in the 23. To the near side. Out of bounds shy of the 50-yard line, and penalty markers all over the place. And I saw at least one block from behind by the Broncos return team.
Illegal blocking in back. Number 99 of the receiving team during the return. First down.
That's Seth Joyner, number 99, gets the block in the back, takes away the big return.
12:10 to play here in the 3rd quarter. John Elway and the Broncos with the ball at the Denver 28-yard line. First down. The handoff straight ahead. Leslie O'Neal making the stop on Terrell Davis.
Derek Thomas, number 58, going to be against Shannon Sharp, number 84. I think we all know what happened before the last game on Monday night, the big confrontation.
And Shannon Sharp has done everything in his power to take the edge off of that this week. I'm not talking to the press. Thought he was detracting too much from the team. Elway throws and throws it away. And now the Chiefs want a penalty on it. Where's the flag is the question. They're saying, Johnny Greer disagrees, they're saying that John Elway was still in the pocket and therefore not allowed to deliver the ball out of bounds.
He was in the pocket. But you know, when the receiver's covered, here's my point. What is he supposed to do? Throw it to somebody and let him intercept it? I mean, of course he's got to throw it out of bounds. The tight end was covered, throw it over his head into the Chiefs bench.
The Broncos 0 for 3 on 3rd and long, and there's offside. The pass complete to Rod Smith, and that's first down yardage.
Well, so far today, Kansas City, every single time they're blitzing, they get single coverage on the outside. John Elway has gone to the left side against Mark McMillan, number 29.
Offside. Number 50, defense. It's declined. First down.
One of the best signal callers in the NFL using his cadence to draw people off sides. John Elway, listen up.
A little leaning on the far side of the line of scrimmage.
I get his sore throat listening to it.
First down from the 44. Play action. Elway breaks free, throws, penalty marker in the backfield. A complete pass to Howard Griffith, but now let's check the flag. It's going to be a hold against the Broncos.
Harry Swain against Pella McDaniels, number 77, held him. You know, we were talking a little bit ago, Greg. Kansas City did a great job of stopping Denver's first 15 plays.
Holding, 62, offense, still first down.
62 is Dan Neal. Those first 15 plays are the terror of the league.
Well, they are. And Kansas City came out here and they really did a good job. They stopped it, but it's those second 15 today that were just terrific. And, you know, it kind of says a lot about, we heard it, Armin Katan telling us that Mike Shanahan was surprised about the defense, but they made the adjustments, came in with some new plays, and made the big plays over the top.
First and 20. Elway with time, throws, and Rod Smith, terrific catch at the 45 and forward to the 47-yard line.
Boy, Rod Smith has really been the go-to guy for John Elway and the Denver Broncos offense. James Hasty on the blitz. You saw him coming. Look at the open hole in the middle of the field. Look at the adjustment by Rod Smith, sticking his hands out in the middle of the field when you expect to get hit sometimes and making that catch.
6 catches for 123 yards. Rod Smith telling us what a devastating loss 2 years ago he felt it was to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He sat on his sofa in his robe for 4 days.
Well, I do that all the time anyway, so I can relate to that.
Davis, this side, nothing there.
You know, Rod Smith, though, Greg, talking about those first 15 plays and the second 15 plays, he told us something I thought very interesting the other day. On Friday, we were talking. Last week during San Diego, they were having some problems with their offense. And he says, you know what they did? They came to the sideline, told the coaches what was going on. The coaches drew up a new pass play, and it enabled the Denver Broncos to get 2 touchdown throws off of a new pass play designed on the sideline.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 8. Elway going to lob it down the field. Rod Smith got it. Penalty marker down. Smith is out of bounds at the 18-yard line. That's a 36-yard play if it stands.
Well, again, John Elway throwing against.
Holding. 29. Defense. It's declined. First down.
Mark McMillan, number 29, what he does, he's going to read John Elway. He sees him, quick drop. He looks. The receiver makes a quick move. He goes for it when Rod Smith makes that second move to go down the field. Mark McMillan is already overcommitted to the short pass. It's just a matter of time when you get a corner that's very aggressive before you see the offense make that double move to go down the field.
Broncos knocking on the door again at the 18-yard line. Smith in motion. Elway to his tight end, Carswell. Carswell inside the 10, close to the 5-yard line.
You know, the Kansas City Chiefs now, they're blitzing. That time it was James Hasty off the corner. He's covering the tight end. Here he is. Here's Dwayne Carswell. He's going to blitz, but nobody covers the tight end. Watch. There he is. He blocks down. There's nobody there to take the tight end in pass coverage. John Elway, the Denver Broncos, perfect call. Elway lets the rusher come to him, ducks it over the top.
First and goal, Broncos. Straight ahead, Terrell Davis inside the 5, a pickup of 2 on the play. Clock continues to move. We come up on 8 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Look at this. I mean, how can you decide which play to call? Look at this. They got this sheet, and then Mike Shanahan, he goes, well, he drew up a new one at halftime. Got him some more plays there.
Ninth play of this drive coming up. Mike is never without reading material.
I'll tell you.
Caffrey in motion to give. Davis tries the right side. Sled lost the football. Is he down, or is that a fumble?
It looks like a fumble. It's a touchback.
It's a touchback, and the Chiefs will take over first down at their own 20-yard line. Leslie O'Neal falling on the football, and the Denver drive comes to a sudden halt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Volkswagen, on the road of life there are passengers and there are drivers. And by IBM, are you ready for e-business?
Back in the land where the Buffalo roam, Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, dramatic turn of events here. The Terrell Davis fumble at the goal line has given the Chiefs the ball. First down at their own 20-yard line. We are still tied at 21. Gannon. Down the middle. Has his man. Complete to Derek Alexander. 20-yard pickup, but let's go back to the fumble.
The second turnover by the Broncos into the end zone of the Kansas City Chiefs. Terrell Davis watching. Here's why he fumbles. He's going to run. He's going outside. He cuts it up in. He slips. Gets the ball a little bit away from his body. Jerome Woods knocks it free, goes into the end zone, and recovered by the Chiefs.
And Terrell Davis fumbling, that just never happens. It just doesn't happen. first fumble lost in 836 touches. Gannon back to the air and flips it now to Bennett. Bennett rolling forward to about the 43-yard line.
This is what I like from the Kansas City offense. On first down, play-action passes. What it does, it gives Rich Gannon a chance to get some time to look down the field, and if it's not there, he can move around and dump the ball off.
And now there is an injured Bronco on the field. We'll check it out and fill you in when we come back. That's Keith Traylor. Rich Gannon and the Chiefs trying to put an end to this Denver Broncos winning streak. They're a perfect 12-0 so far this season.
You know, the Chiefs, they came out, they were fired up. I think a lot of it had to do is what Marty Schottenheimer did this past Friday. He did something different. He let them come out and practice with no equipment.
Gannon to throw over the middle, incomplete, intended for Gonzalez. While we have the moment, let's remind you, Monday on CBS. Ever been trapped on a blind date with no end in sight? That's what happens to Ted Danson in the new hit comedy, Becker. That's Monday, and that's here on CBS.
You know, Greg, though, Kansas City, well, I'll talk about it after this play, about what they did last week, it was a little different from what they usually do.
0 for 3 on third down between 4 and 7 yards. Gannon over the middle, has his man, and that's Alexander across midfield, and that's enough for a first down.
Well, that's a good job by Rich Gannon. I think the one thing that he does really well that you just don't pay attention to, he can find angles to throw the football. Look at this. People in front of him, he just drops down, goes underneath, throws a perfect ball, a spiral, and the right touch for Derek Alexander to catch.
Clock continues to move. We're under 6 minutes to play for the third quarter. Chiefs have moved into Denver territory. First down at the Broncos 48. Gannon to throw again. Looks the other way, throws, and once again, diving catch, this time by Tony Gonzalez.
Well, that time, the offensive line gave Rich Gannon enough time, and finally, Tony Gonzalez can go down the field and get away from this Denver defense. Look, just open space. He goes across. There's an open hole. Rich Gannon leads him. And another good catch by a receiver. And, you know, both teams catch the ball extremely well today.
Look at Rich Gannon on first down. 11 of 13 for 110 yards. Play fake. Has time. Now going to run. Around the left side. He has room. First down yardage and out of bounds close to the 25.
Well, that's why you see he is so good on first down, 11 of 13. When you throw on first down in the National Football League, you will usually catch the defense, and I don't want to say passive, but not a blitzing type defense where it's hard to protect. And they got to honor the run, so they stop. You get that extra time, it's easier to pick up those wide receivers down the field.
But at this point in the game, if you're Denver, you've got to think Rich Gannon's going to throw the ball 75-80% of the time now.
But you can't take too many chances. Even Denver, sometimes you got to play it safe, and first down is when you usually do that.
This first down is a running play, and Donnell Bennett gets very little.
Well, that answers your question right there, Greg. That time, the Denver Broncos, they were hoping for one of those play-action passes. They had a double outside blitz coming. If it had been a play-action pass, Rich Gannon would have been in a lot of trouble.
No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Here comes the Bronco crowd. And Gannon wants a timeout. Gannon took a look, stopped the clock, 3:50 to play. Third quarter, looking to break a 21-21 tie.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the NASDAQ Amex Market Group, the market of markets, and by the Remington Microscreen 3 Shaver.
Broncos crowd with chance of defense as the Chiefs come to the line. 2nd and 10 from the 26. Blitz. Gannon gets it away. Incomplete. Comes up short of Derek Alexander.
Well, that's the thing that's been so successful for the Denver Broncos, the blitz. That time they just send more people than Kansas City can pick up. Steve Atwater, John Mobley, two aggressive and fast defenders getting to Rich Gannon. That's why he can't get the ball to the wide receiver.
Marvin Washington in on the quarterback as well. And now it's 3rd and 10. Gannon for the end zone. Touchdown! Joe Horn. 26 yards. The Broncos want to push, but there was no flag.
Well, it was a good timing push by Joe Horn just before they went up. He got his left arm extended. Watch as you go down the field. Good job by Rich Gannon. He sees the one-on-one outside. Throw it up. Give your wide receiver a chance. And you can see Joe Horn extend that left hand. Watch it. Just before there, Tito Paul not able to jump and react to the football because of a little push-off.
And the Chiefs regain the lead. Stoyanovich, the kick is good. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to play. Here in the 3rd quarter, Joe Horn comes up with his first touchdown catch and a mile-high salute.
Watch Joe Horn's left arm. Look at that, he extends it, pushes Tito Paul, and what that does, it doesn't enable Tito Paul to jump as he sees the football go over the top of his head. Look at that, look at the separation he created just by extending that left arm. Joe Horn makes his first touchdown catch of his career.
First career touchdown. The kick to Vaughn Hebron. Hebron at the 7. 20. 30. Before he is brought down. And as the personnel changes on the field, let's take a look at the CBS Sportsline question of the week. Who's the most feared pass rusher in the game today? Is it Kevin Green? Is it Bruce Smith? Is it Reggie White? Log on to vote at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online at keyword CBS Sportsline.
See, what you should do is you go to let the NFL quarterbacks take a poll, and they'll tell you which one they're scared of. What do you think?
I think you need to get your computer up and working before you even comment.
Hey, listen, I could punch www. in my sleep.
3.5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Broncos start from their 30. Elway's got McCaffrey. McCaffrey, first down yardage and more. Down at the 43-yard line.
Ed McCaffrey just goes down the field, number 87. Mark McMillan comes off because the tight end comes towards him, just creates a hole inside. John Elway, good timing, throws it right to the chest of Ed McCaffrey, and then he picks up a couple extra yards after the catch.
Mark McMillan is going to sleep really well tonight. He has had a busy day. Elway, screen for Davis. Davis eludes the tackle. Midfield, 40. 25, penalty marker flies as he's out of bounds close to the 20-yard line. And the call, as the Chiefs applaud, is against the Denver Broncos.
Well, we got to wait to see what it is, but the Denver Broncos down the field really working hard, blocking for Terrell Davis on the screenplay.
Well, the fans reacting to the replay here believe they may have seen a face mask, but here's Johnny Greer.
Holding, number 80, offense. The result of the play is still a first down. First down.
Well, Rod Smith, number 80, going down the field. He knows it's a screenplay, and Terrell Davis is going to be coming. So these Denver Bronco wide receivers on screens and running plays do good. Look at the right of your screen. There it is, number 80. And boy, that looks good to me. He was in great position for the block. Couldn't see his hands, but they looked like they were inside.
Denver at the Chiefs 42, straight ahead. Davis dips inside across the 35 down to about the 32 or 31-yard line.
You know, Ron Smith Smith said something that's interesting on Friday, about being a wide receiver and all these things. He says, hey, we're just football players. I'm not no wide receiver. And what he meant by that is we do it all. We work hard. We block down the field for our runner, Terrell Davis. We block for each other when we catch passes. And, of course, wide receivers, they do a terrific job of going down the field and catching the passes.
That man is grateful for all the blocks he gets downfield as well as at the line of scrimmage. Clock running, under 2 minutes to play, third quarter. On first down, Davis again, across the 30 to about the 28, maybe the 27-yard line.
Well, Kansas City has not stopped this Denver offense since those first 3 drives. Denver has driven the ball. This is the 6th time in a row they've gone down the field and had a chance to score twice. The last 2, they've had the turnovers in the end zone.
John Elway threw an interception, and there was a fumble recovery, and Gunther Cunningham trying to figure it out upstairs for the Kansas City defense.
Well, he did have it figured out early, but, again, we've said it, Denver adjusted, and now you got to come up with a different plan yourself to slow him down.
2nd and 7. Elway steps up. McCaffrey across the middle and banged to the turf at the 25 by Dale Carter. That'll bring up a third down. Clock running now at 1 minute to play.
And that was a good hit by Dale Carter coming up and stopping Ed McCaffrey. Looked like he was wide open, going to run somewhere with the ball, but he just stopped him dead in his tracks.
That 1 minute to play is here in the third quarter. 3rd and 2.
And Mike Shanahan, he's on the sideline. Listen, everything he's calling, it's working. Just can't turn the ball over.
Quick drop, Elway throws, has his man out of bounds, Rod Smith. First down, Denver.
And you know what? What side do you think he threw it to? I mean, it is really becoming a habit. Dale Carter seeing no passes thrown his way. Rod Smith, a quick out against Mark McMillan. Again, going to his best receiver against their smallest defender. And that's what the Denver Broncos do so well. Shannon Sharp, he's been covered by James Hasty. So Denver says they just wiped him out of the game plan. They are working strictly on Mark McMillan.
Terrell Davis falling forward to about the 25-yard line. And with that, we have come to the end of the third quarter with the score. The Chiefs 28, the Broncos 21. We'll come back after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, and our CBS crew at Mile High Stadium. The last time the Broncos trailed a football game after 3 quarters, December 15 of 97 against the 49ers. They trail as we start the fourth here. 2nd and 8 from the 15. Davis. Maybe a yard on the play. Donnie Edwards with the tackle.
Well, now this is where the time of the game, the fans, and maybe even the Bronco players, they start going, wow, fourth quarter, we're trailing, our perfect season, a lot of things that can make this season, really, well, beyond something special. Those thoughts start going into your head.
Broncos looking for an 18th straight victory. The NFL record is 18. Movement on the line on 3rd and 7. And it'll back the Broncos up 5 yards.
Well, in those situations, you're a Bronco offensive player.
Ball start, 69, offense, prior to the snap. Still 3rd down.
That's Mark Schlereth, the left tackle, or left guard, rather.
Yeah, the left guard, and that makes sense because the linebacker on his side was going to blitz, and then the deep safety, Jerome Woods, he was going to blitz too. Mark Schlereth, he sees them trying to anticipate and get ready for the blitzers.
So it's 3rd and 12 for Elway. In long yardage situation, the Broncos 1 of 4 on 3rd down. Elway going for the end zone, incomplete. Rod Smith, the intended receiver, and James Hasty was on him.
Well, that was good coverage by James Hasty in good position. He just stood there, and it really made it hard for Rod Smith to make an adjustment to catch the ball. Watch, John Elway sees the blitz. He knows he has Rod Smith going down the field in the end zone. James Hasty on the inside.
That's a pretty good position by Hasty.
That is perfect.
So here is Jason Elam, who has not missed a field goal or an extra point this year from 37 yards out. And it's blocked. Elam tracks it down, and now the Chiefs try to fall on the ball, and they do. And look at the Chiefs sideline celebrating.
Well, you're talking about making some big plays. I think Leslie O'Neal, number 91, got his hand up and blocked that field goal attempt.
13:48 to play in regulation. The Chiefs with a big defensive stand.
Leslie O'Neal, number 91, watch him on the inside. Does a good job, goes around the offensive guard. Dan Neal gets his big arm up and blocks the field goal attempt.
Gannon to throw. Incomplete. Far side of the field intended for Andre Rison, who hasn't been heard of since early in the game.
Leslie O'Neal, free agent pickup this offseason. You know, he's kind of brought in to be one of those defensive linemen that comes in and spells one of the starters, but because of injuries for the defensive front of the Kansas City Chiefs, he's played a lot of snaps so far this year.
Jason Elam. We told you about the perfect season, which has now gone by the boards. Gary Anderson of the Vikings, now the only perfect kicker in the league. Pass complete to number 89, Rison. And that's enough for a first down.
Of course, this situation right now, Kansas City has the Denver defense, the Denver team, in the position everybody else has played from all year long, being behind the Broncos late in the game. Now the Broncos are the ones that might have to take a chance, and if they do, it could backfire. Can Kansas City wait and take advantage of that situation when it comes?
Kansas City offense has been consistent most of the day. Gannon, quick drop, all kinds of time. Still scrambling, directing traffic, and now he's going to run it and is out of bounds. Run out of bounds by Bill Romanowski, and he lost a couple of yards on the play.
Well, that's a good job by Rich Gannon buying the time, and just think what the defenders down the field had to do. Let's see how much time he had to throw this football and how long the defensive backs got to cover the wide receivers down the field.
That's forever and a day.
Wow, that is something. I mean, that just shows you the discipline and the talent of the defensive backs for the Denver Broncos.
Loss of 2 on the play, goes down as the second sack of the day. It's 2nd and 12. Gannon with the screen. Bam Morris. Back to the line of scrimmage, and then a couple of more to the 25-yard line before he's brought down by John Mobley.
Well, Marty, he's getting excited on the sideline. He can smell this thing. We got a chance, and this is a good call by Kansas City. Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator. You know the defensive front on 2nd and 12. They're going to be aggressive, coming up the field. Let them come. Throw that screen pass behind them.
You're too late, Steve.
0 for 3 on 3rd down between 4 and 7, and they're looking at a 3rd and 7. Quick drop by Gannon, throws, Andre Rison complete. Stretching for the first down, and it's going to be close.
Well, what did you call that Rich Gannon does? What's he do? What's he go?
Laredo?
He goes Laredo, sidearm. And I'll tell you, it has come in so handy for him today. He is throwing around the defenders. The Denver Broncos, they blitz. Watch Rich Gannon. There's a blitz. Somebody's going to come from the outside free. He drops down underneath, throws it right between the defenders, and Andre Rison does a good job of attacking the football and catching it.
From here, it looks just short of a first down.
Now, you know, that's not good, because you're never right. You're never right.
But this is December.
Okay, so you're changing over. Okay.
Strange things happen around Christmas.
Well, should I apologize? apologize?
Not yet.
Okay.
We still have 11:23 to play in regulation.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, it'll be 4th and 1 foot. Without a doubt, they're going to go for it.
So Gannon huddles his team at the 40.
I think this is the proper call. I think you got to go for the first down in this situation. Give yourself the chance to pick it up and go in and score a touchdown.
And now Gannon's going to call a timeout. Gannon is very upset. Can't get the offensive play in time. We'll be right back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Dodge. It's about change. Dell. Be direct. Dell. And by MasterCard. There are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Back at Mile High Stadium, a key moment in the old ball game with 11:05 to play here in regulation. The Chiefs with a touchdown lead and looking at 4th and about a foot at the Denver 28-yard line. Anders and Morris in the backfield. First down, Kansas City. Bam Morris over the top.
If it was 1 foot to go, there's no question he got it. Now we're looking at the spot. Looks like he's got it by the length of the football. I'll take the guess this time.
You know what I'm going to do, Phil? Well, I'm going to agree with you.
All right, good, good. But it kind of tells you the Kansas City going for it on 4th down. They kick a field goal and put them up 10 points. There would have been about 11 minutes to go. But now what you do, you pick up the first down. No matter what here, you're going to get another field goal attempt. If you don't gain any yardage, but you should be able to take out at least a minute and a half of the 2 minutes of the clock away. Watch Bam Morris. Going to the right side. Gets airborne, picks up about a foot and a half. Good enough for the first down.
Chiefs at the Broncos 27. Play fake. Gannon, far side. Has a man complete down to the 10-yard line, and that's Alexander. 18-yard pickup, 1st and goal for the Chiefs.
Well, the play-action passing on first down has just destroyed the Denver Broncos today. And look at Rich Gannon. There is nobody around him. Has time to look, set his feet, step forward, and throw a perfect pass to Derek Alexander.
You know what the difference is, Phil? This is about the time of day that against the Denver Broncos, teams have lost their composure. That hasn't happened with the Chiefs this afternoon.
Well, the Chiefs have a good plan, especially on offense now, what they're doing.
Number 38 is Kimball Anders, and he works his way down inside the 5-yard line.
I mean, the thing that we've seen today, the play-action passes on first down and really attacking the sidelines of the Denver Broncos. No matter what, you know that at least for the next 3 games after this one's over today, the teams that play the Denver Broncos are going to copy that and see if the Broncos make adjustments to stop it.
Clock continues to move, coming up on 9:15 to play. 2nd and goal from the 4. Stay on the ground with it, and that's Anders again, and he may have gotten about a yard.
Well, I guess the Chiefs there just trying to catch the Broncos defense by surprise, but really the play-action passes, just giving Rich Gannon an extra time. He's rewarded you all day long. You know, he's not even thrown the ball into coverage. He hasn't taken chances, and when guys get open, he's been hitting them. So put the ball in the hands of your quarterback.
See how the outstanding passing numbers have dominated today. 3rd and goal from the 3. This time Gannon will throw it. Over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Gonzalez. Knocked down by Atwater.
Well, Good reaction by Rich Gannon. He looks left, nobody open, then looks over the middle. Watch the quarterback. He wants to throw it left. They cover it. He knows his outlet receiver. Tight end over the middle, and then Steve Atwater does a terrific job, gets his left hand in there and knocks the ball down.
This will be a 20-yard field goal attempt by Stoyanovich, who is 17 for 17 under 40 yards this season. And the kick is good. So, the Broncos stretch it. It's now a 10-point lead with 8:25 to play. The Christmas Wish tonight here on CBS. Vaughn Hebron deep as he slips the Broncos, takes it at the 4. The 20. The 30. And finally brought down at the 45-yard line. Greg Favors ran him out, and just when Mike Shanahan and the Denver Broncos needed a big play, they get one from Vaughn Hebron.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the United States Army. Be all you can be. And by Enterprise. Pick Enterprise, we'll pick you up.
The opposition talks all the time about how confident this Denver Broncos team is. We may see a little of that here. Elway goes to play action. Screen to Terrell Davis. Out of bounds before he reaches midfield. Pickup of about 2 or 3 on the play. Anthony Davis and Mark McMillan ran him out.
Now with 8 minutes and 5 seconds and counting in this ball game, down 10 points, the Denver Broncos, they're going to be in 4-down offense. So Mike Shanahan's going to call plays, and John Elway needs to realize that and execute accordingly. In other words, don't take a chance sometimes on 1st and 2nd down. Wait, because you know you're going to have 4 chances.
Shannon Sharp has been quiet all day, due in large part to the coverage from James Hastings. Elway flips it out, incomplete as he goes down, intended for Howard Griffith. Chester McLaughlin was in on Elway.
Good job by John Elway just getting rid of the ball, making the situation good. But watch James Hasty on Shannon Sharp. Every time he's been matched up against him, look at that. Shannon Sharp, it almost looks like he knows he has no chance of even getting open. But this is a good matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs inside. The problem is it puts Mark McMillan singled outside against the receivers.
Sharp now in the slot to the near side. Elway throws the slant, that's complete to 85. Willie Green, Green breaking away to the 5 and to the 1. Jerome Woods dragged him down just short of the goal line.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, they know they got James Hasty on Shannon Sharp, so look what they do on the wide receivers. They put a defensive back in the back, trying to double the wide receivers. John Elway still takes the strength of his arm and sticks it in there to Willie Green. Look at this. He just gets it in there before the safety, Reggie Tongue, can get up there and help Dale Carter.
1st and goal from the 1. Davis. Touchdown.
Third game with 3 touchdowns for Terrell Davis. You know, you got to know how to play the game and according to situations. Dale Carter gives up the 1st down pass. Then he goes for the big play, trying to cause the fumble. He allows Willie Green then to carry on and get about 35, 40 extra yards. Leads to an easy touchdown for the Broncos.
Jason Elam, kick is good. John Elway had completed 9 straight passes before the incompletion. Then he comes up with a big 50-yarder to Willie Green. Terrell Davis into the end zone for the 3rd time today. And now with 59 touchdowns in his first 4 seasons, more than any other running back has ever accomplished in his first 4 years in the league.
Well, 21 rushes for 74 yards. Not a great day for Terrell Davis. But Kansas City has done everything they can do to stop the running game of the Denver Broncos. Put a lot of pressure on their corners. The corners, by and large, Flyers have done a pretty good job today, but that last time, Dale Carter, you've got to know that as a defender. When you're up 10 points, make the other team make a bunch of plays and score to beat you. Don't take a chance, and all of a sudden, 2 plays later, 1 minute off the clock, the Broncos are within 3 points.
Tamarek Vanover trying to put the momentum back on the Chiefs side of the field. The bouncing kick, Vanover at the 3. 15, and doesn't reach the 20-yard line. Jason Elam bounces the kick downfield, and Keith Burns with the stop. Let's go back.
Let's go back and look at this pass play that we're talking about, Greg. It's 3rd down. John Elway does a good job. Completes it. Now it's a 1st down. Okay, no big deal. Just go for the tackle. But he's trying to strip the ball going up there. I know Dale Carter has his left hand wrapped up, but you've got to stop Willie Green right there. He should be tackled somewhere right in there on the 35-yard line. Instead, he goes down to the 1-foot line.
Chiefs now start from their own 19, and the crowd is back into the game. Gannon pulls it down, rolls right, throws, hits Donnell Bennett, and that's an incomplete pass. Bronco fans on that side of the field were about to tear the stands down. Thought they had a fumble recovery.
Boy, I did too for a second. The Broncos changed defensive coverages. Nothing for him to throw the football to. John Mobley just showing his speed, and that was the catch and a fumble.
Second and 10. Gonna lost one down for Alexander, and overthrown and incomplete. Darian Gordon all over Alexander's back. That ball was not catchable.
What a good choice by Rich Gannon. Single coverage on the outside, take a chance. But you got to realize, too, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, just try to get a 1st down. 6 minutes, 25 seconds to go. You're the one leading.
This is now a huge play for Marty Schottenheimer and the Kansas City offense. And now he's calling for a timeout, and he's going to get one. There's a delay of game penalty, though. There's a penalty in the secondary behind the Denver defense.
We have timeout, Kansas City, prior to the flag.
All right, so that flag will not apply. So the Chiefs stop the clock, 6:25 to play. And this is the most important play. Marty Schottenheimer wants to get it right.
Well, he's got to be careful. They got to design a play that's not going to take a whole lot of execution. In other words, where you change routes or people adjust. The crowd noise is just going to be so much for the quarterback, Rich Gannon, to deal with. You got to make a simple play.
For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the game between Kansas City and Denver. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Phil Simms and Armin Kutsayan. The Chiefs lead the Broncos 31-28, 6:25 to play in regulation. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast and here in the Mountain Time Zone. Rich Gannon looking at 3rd and 10 from his own 19. Over the middle, incomplete. Tony Gonzalez wasn't even looking his way.
Well, it's an all-out blitz. Steve Atwater comes up. Watch Steve Atwater. Here he comes. John Mobley on Tony Gonzalez. Rich Gannon. He sees it, makes a good throw. Tony Gonzalez, second-year player. You've got to look for the ball quick in blitzing situations.
Louis Aguiar will now kick it away to Darian Gordon. Gordon at the 36. And run out of bounds short of the 50-yard 40-yard line. Excellent field position, however, for the Denver Broncos and John Elway as they take the field. Game-winning drives. When you talk about those, you talk about John Elway and Dan Marino, and Elway has engineered more against the Chiefs than any other team in the NFL.
Some of those, of course, well, the most notable, the drive, well, wasn't against Kansas City. I was thinking about Marty Schottenheimer.
Right.
I'm sorry. He was in Cleveland at the time.
Marty Schottenheimer has had his fill of John Elway over the years. Davis. Across midfield, carries a tackler to about the 46, maybe the 45-yard line. Donnie Edwards got a free ride courtesy of Terrell Davis as you look at defensive coordinator Gunther Cunningham.
Yeah, he said something interesting last night about Terrell Davis. He says, hey, they say that Terrell Davis is 210 pounds. No, he's not, because the way he runs, the way he hits players and just moves defensive linemen down the field in the running game, you got to be bigger than that.
Davis over 6,000 yards for his career this afternoon, 22 carries, 79 yards. Elway tips it out to Davis. First down and out of bounds inside the 35-yard line.
And there you see, Greg, we talk so much about his running game and Terrell Davis. John Elway in trouble. He dumps it off Terrell Davis. We see his good hands. You know, the other thing, Gunther Cunningham telling us too, the most unselfish football player he has ever seen in the National Football League, Terrell Davis. Not only does he catch it and run it, but picks up blitzers in passing situations and does a terrific job of doing that.
First down at the 33. Davis, he leads the tackle, 30, 25-yard line. Jerome Woods with the tackle, 8-yard pickup for Davis.
And that's what makes you special as a running back, or special as an NFL football player. It's when you can make something happen when nothing's there. Terrell Davis, look at this, in the backfield. Chester McLaughlin is free. He gets around him and then picks up 9 yards after making a defender miss in the backfield.
The Broncos under the gun more today than at any other time this season. Davis again, and is close to a first down. Leslie O'Neal with the stop. The clock continues to move, coming up on 4 minutes to play in regulation.
Third and short, you got to be careful if you're the Kansas City Chiefs defense right here. The way the Denver Broncos call offensive plays, this is the time you really try to catch the defense off guard. You make them overcommit to Terrell Davis and you go for the score.
Shannon Sharp has not caught a ball all day long. And now, timeout, Denver. It's their first of the second half. And it stops the clock with 3:39 to play. You know, as we approach the playoffs, and the Denver Broncos have clinched a playoff spot, a victory here tonight would give them home field advantage in the AFC throughout the playoffs. I'll bet Mike Shanahan kind of likes to see his team maybe getting pushed a little bit. Maybe not to this extent, but this is a different kind of a game they've had to play.
Well, absolutely. I think anytime as a team, especially in the National Football League, you need to be tested. And you got to get in some tough situations. And the Broncos really this year haven't been tested a little bit. One time in the third quarter, then they blow the team out and get a big victory. But this is good for the team. Of course, you'd like to see them be tested and still find a way to win.
We remind you once again that once this winds down, 60 minutes comes your way. Elway looking at 3rd and 1 from the 24. Play action. Gonna throw for the end zone. Shannon Sharp, touchdown! Not a catch all day long. This one, his first of the day, his 50th on the tight end to record 50 receptions in 7 consecutive seasons.
What happens to Kansas City Chiefs? They're playing run. Shannon Sharp is not covered by James Hasty. The Chiefs are playing the running game. He gets against the safeties of the Kansas City Chiefs. Reggie Tongue, he's isolated and goes for the touchdown. Look at this. Everybody comes up for the run. The safety, Reggie Tongue, can't get over there quick enough. Shannon Sharp gets behind him for the touchdown.
John Elway with that pass, over 400 yards throwing today, has engineered a fourth quarter come from behind drive. So what's new in that department? Take the horse for a run around the field.
Well, you know, too, the thing about John Elway's throw that was really impressive, again, Chester McLaughlin came through almost immediately. Elway took one step back, anticipated, threw the ball nice and high, soft, and dropped it in there perfectly.
Gary Kubiak, offensive coordinator, handing out kudos on the Denver bench. And now the Chiefs look at 3:34 on the clock. And Kansas City, incidentally, out of timeout.
Now, see, we talked about it, Greg, but if I was the Chiefs, I would have been looking for the scoring play. Let them get the first down. They needed a field goal, to tie you. Don't give it up with one big play.
Speaking of big plays, Samaric Van Over can do it from the 2, 20, 25, and out to the 30-yard line.
Let's look at one other thing, Greg, the touchdown. Shannon Sharp. Look at this. Lindsey O'Neal on the outside. He's playing run. Donnie Edwards is playing run. Nobody checks Shannon Sharp at the line of scrimmage. He's downfield immediately.
How strange is it that the man has been covered all day long and guarded all day long, and at the most critical point of the football game, he breaks loose for a touchdown catch.
He's been quiet all day long in the receptions. Hasn't done much talking, said he wouldn't on the field, but he comes through when it's the biggest moment of the game.
Chiefs first down, their own 30. Gannon throws this side, completes to Kimball Anders out of the backfield. He's out of bounds across the 30, a pickup of maybe 3 on the play. Ray Crockett, who has played a whale of a game on the corner for the Broncos, ran him out of bounds.
Now, you know, there's 3 minutes, 17 seconds to go in the game, and it's basically a 4-down game or offense for the Kansas City Chiefs because they have no timeouts left. If you punt it away, you lose the game.
The Chiefs have been the subject of much criticism this season, much of it rightly so, but they have put up a whale of a fight here today. Incomplete. Joe Horn had it and dropped it. If he had held it, it would have been a first down. 3rd and 7.
Well, you got to make the plays when the situation is its toughest. We've seen the Denver Broncos can do it. Kansas City, Joe Horn had that chance right there. It would have been a first down, but he doesn't come up with the catch.
On distances of 4 to 7 yards, the Chiefs are 0 for 4 on 3rd down. That's what they're looking at now. Gannon slips and falls, and he'll be down at his own 28. Either he slipped or perhaps he was stepped on by a lineman.
I'm sure he was stepped on by a lineman. Watch Rich Gannon's feet. Can't quite see it there. Looks like Tim Grunhardt's left foot went on Rich Gannon's left foot, caused him to fall down.
And so on 4th and 12, Gannon and the Chiefs will go for it. They are 2 for 2 on 4th down today. Blitz, the pass, complete, Risen, very close at the 40-yard line, but he looks to be short. Let's see where they spot it. He had to reach the 40-yard line.
where they marked it, it is definitely short.
Neil Smith, the ex-chief, is saying first down Broncos.
Of course, I can't tell where they marked it because there's so many players around it.
We are having the officials summit.
It's a pretty good mark. It's close to the 40-yard line.
And the Chiefs believe they have a first down. Here's Johnny Greer.
Wow.
We have a catch and a fumble recovered by the fumbling player. First down.
Andre Rison.
Well, it did look like Andre Rison once he makes his catch. Let's watch. So he knows he's got to get there for the first down.
That's a great call.
It's a good call. The ball did come loose. Of course, the question is, were his knees on the ground? It was close. The ball did come loose. Andre Rison recovered that ball past the 40-yard line.
First and 10, Chiefs at their own 40-yard line. And there's still a conversation going on amongst the officials.
Please reset the game clock to 2:27.
Game clock shows 2:22. It's being reset to 2:27.
Now, if this would have happened a couple plays later, that could not be the case. You cannot fumble the ball forward for a first down inside of 2 minutes. Well, and of course, in Andre Rison, since he recovered his own fumble, it's okay.
Gannon to throw. Down the field. Incomplete. Penalty marker flag. Gonzalez, the intended receiver. And it's an interference call against the Broncos. John Mobley was there for the coverage.
Pass interference. 51. Defense. First down.
Tony Gonzalez, the tight end. Nobody on him. Gives him a free run down the field. John Mobley is there. And you tell me where the penalty is. Pretty tough call against the Denver Broncos that time.
Chiefs have moved to the Denver 36. Gannon, incomplete. Overthrows Rison. And that stops the clock with 2:08 to play. Remember, the Chiefs are out of timeout. And a field goal does them no good. Marty Schottenheimer pleading his case. You think Marty wants this game badly?
Well, when your team comes into a game like this, you're 5-7. This is why the Chiefs. This is a rivalry game against Denver, and this can make the year they'll set Denver's perfect season.
Chiefs have not been swept in a season series by Denver since 1991. Gannon, far side, incomplete. Rison again, the intended receiver over there.
The ball was tipped by Neil Smith. You play pass all the way in these situations. If you're the Denver Broncos defense, Neil Smith, number 90, jumps up, gets his hand on the football.
3rd and 10. Over the middle, intended for Gonzalez, and that's incomplete and no flag on this play. A minute 59 on the clock. We approach the 2-minute warning. Denver by 4. Down for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have gone for it on 4th down 3 times today. All 3 times they've been successful.
Well, they had one early in the drive. 4th down and 11. The Denver Broncos sent everybody to make him throw the ball quick. They tried to make the tackle. Andre Rison fumbled. They picked up the first down.
Chiefs need to reach the 26-yard line for a first down.
Here they come.
would appear the Denver Broncos have withstood their toughest challenge of this season thus far.
Look at the blitzers coming. Nowhere for Rich Gannon to throw the football. The Broncos, when they get in these situations, they are going to be the ones that force the action. They're not going to sit back and let you dictate what's going to happen.
Steve Atwater and Alfred Williams. And now the Chiefs, with no timeouts, cannot stop the clock.
Last year, during the Super Bowl, fourth down for the Green Bay Packers, kind of the same situation, do or die. The Denver Broncos, they brought everybody. So you know when they get in these situations, again, they're going to force it. They're going to make you throw it quick. They'll try to tackle you short before you run for the first down.
You see the numbers on John Elway. With victory, the Denver Broncos clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but it is interesting to note that the last 4 AFC teams with the home field advantage failed to make it to the Super Bowl.
Well, it's interesting, Greg. You got to remember, Denver fumbled, 1 interception, 1 fumble in the end zone, going in to score a blocked field goal by the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs do all that. They score 31 points, and they still lose.
In search of a perfect season, the Broncos will travel to the Meadowlands next Sunday to play the New York Giants. Then travel to Miami and finish the season at home against the Seattle Seahawks. That'll do it. A hard-fought victory for the Denver Broncos against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos win their 22nd straight at home. Their 18th consecutive game that sets an NFL record. Correction, they win their 23rd straight. Once again, the final score, the Denver Broncos 35, Kansas City 31. Next week, we have regional NFL action here on CBS. We'll be at the Meadowlands for the Broncos and the Giants, plus these other games. Check your local listings for the game in your area, beginning with the NFL today. Tonight on CBS, why would a high school student who says he revered his English teacher end up murdering him? Find out on 60 Minutes. Then it's Touched by an Angel, followed by a movie critics are calling a contemporary twist on It's a Wonderful Life. The Christmas Wish, tonight on CBS. Marty Schottenheimer's Chiefs gave it all they had and came up short. Terrell Davis, 6,000 yards for his career, and the Chiefs are swept by the Broncos, first time since 1991. For Phil Simms and Armin Katayan, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Mile High Stadium in Denver. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.